Well, hello everybody. I'm trying to just get myself together here. These live streams are always, whew, there's a lot going on in the back getting this ready, and I'm still not exactly where I want to be. I eventually want to be able to take in Skype calls and even either take in audio calls or take in video calls, and I'm working towards that. I got a couple little things I need to get before I'm ready to do that. So I see that we've got them. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone because, whoops, sorry. My phone doesn't come up that far. But you see, I'm actually streaming and looking at it on my phone. And that's where I see the chats. So let's see who we've got here. We've got, and if I say any names wrong, please excuse me. Got Bethany and Lewis and Kiss Band fan, Harry, and I see it's 12 altogether. But I see that's who is chatted in. If anybody else has chatted, if anybody else wants to chat in, feel free to chat in and say hey. Before we get into 70s Kiss, I had somebody ask me, they're like, one of my Patreon subscribers, they asked for like a little background tour of my room. And I was like, you know what, I've had some of you guys ask that too, and it's not a whole lot. It's about a 10 by 12 room in my house. My drum set's right here, so I'm going to kind of flip the camera around. My drum set is covered up, but you see my drum set's there covered up, and the Walking Dead poster over in the corner, and there's some camping stuff in the corner and some grandbaby stuff, a camera with some lights. So yeah, and then you come back around here to me. There's the laptop. There is me, and then there's my albums that's up on the wall here. There's a blank spot on the wall there. There's the Kiss posters. There's the poster that I got from a fan, my big head. More albums, and then the thing behind me, and then, you know, the floor, and I'm barefooted, so, and my Bose subwoofer down there. So yeah, so this is where all of the magic happens, if you call it that. So we got Marty and we got Brett. So it's really good to have you guys here. And this first live feed I did in a while, and I thought I'd want to talk about some 70s Kiss things, because I was talking with Rick from All For You Demon, and he was going to be here tonight, but he's not going to be able to be because he had family coming in. And so what I basically did was we started talking about Kiss and vintage Kiss, and I actually grew up during vintage Kiss time. I was a Kiss fan from 77 on, so I was about 8 in 77 until, you know, the Dynasty era, and I was 10, and that was the first Kiss concert I actually saw was Dynasty. But I was around when Double Platinum came out. Alive 2, Destroyer was my first album, but it wasn't, it had already came out before I was a Kiss fan. And then I got Alive 2 next. I got Destroyer, I got Alive 2 like a week after I got Destroyer. And Alive 2 blew my mind. And I remember Alive 2 was what made me want to start playing drums. Hearing Kiss live in concert, and then hearing the 4 or 5 songs that's on the fifth side. You know, Rocket Ride, still one of my favorite songs. All American Man, you know, it's one of the great songs. Larger Than Life, I love. And I got to hear a lot of those songs whenever Cirrus was doing their Kiss thing. They played a really good mix of Kiss songs, I thought. They played a really good mix. I heard them playing stuff from the solo albums, and you know, it's really cool to hear what a lot of stuff that they did. I wish some of the songs that they played on the Kiss Cirrus radio station, they would have played them live. but so I basically wanted to do something because, like I said, getting back to what I said, and I'm going to get sidetracked, and I'm looking down too. I do see you guys texting, and I will answer some of the questions in a minute. But I was a Kiss fan. I got Alive 2, and then shortly after that, Double Platinum came out. Live 2 had already been out, so Double Platinum came out. And then while we was waiting on the solo albums to come out, I got a lot of the other albums. I remember when I got Love Gun and Destroyer. I remember having The Gun and a Rock and Roll Over. And then I remember getting Alive. And I had Alive before I had the first Kiss album, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill. So I heard the live versions of almost all the songs except for the songs off Destroyer before I heard the actual studio albums. And that's why I think I kind of gravitate towards the live albums being my favorite albums. And then I remember when the solo albums went on sale, I remember standing outside the line at J. Joe's Records and waiting on the albums to go on sale and going in and buying all 4 albums and getting the little bag that they came in. And of course, I remember when Dynasty came out, it seemed like it was forever from when the solo albums came out to Dynasty because it was the return of Kiss. And then after Dynasty, it seemed like it was forever for Unmasked to come out. And then it seemed like it was forever for, and that's when Peter Criss left or got fired. And then it seemed like it was forever for The Elder to come out. And nobody knew who this new person, Eric Carr, was. And then you got The Elder album, and it didn't even have the band anywhere on it, so it's kind of unique in that way. But it was kind of a weird time. And I was talking with somebody earlier, and we were talking about how Kiss, they came in, I think they said their first album was Carnival of Souls. And that was their induction to Kiss. They came in really late. And I was talking about how, and they were talking about that Ace and Peter, they're not big fans of Ace and Peter because Ace and Peter were not their Kiss. And they respect them, but they don't have an affection towards them like some of us early Kiss fans do. But now I'm not one of those 4 people that Kiss is Ace, Peter, Gene, Paul. Because one of my favorite versions of Kiss is this version right here. I adore this version of Kiss right here, y'all. I'm Southern, y'all. I adore this album, and I adore this version of Kiss. They weren't wearing the makeup, and people hated this album. But I love this album. It's one of my favorite Kiss albums. And but this band right here, on this album and on the Revenge album, they kicked ass. Now, and changed my mind. You can see those little memes of the guy sitting there, the change my mind memes. That era of Kiss, on the Revenge and Carnival of Souls album, they kicked ass. And they just did. But I still love, my favorite era of Kiss is still always going to be the 4 original members, Ace, Gene, Peter, Paul. It's always going to be that era. And so that was a unique time because we didn't have the internet, like Kid Rock says in that song, didn't have no internet. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have, Kiss had makeup, and you never saw pictures of them without makeup. You would see them hiding their face or hiding behind an album. And I remember these pictures of Ace looking through a thing of cards because he's an Ace, and he was looking through, and you'd see the eye. You'd get glimpses of their faces, but you never saw them without makeup. And I remember a point in time, I don't like the personas. I don't like the Star Child or the the Star Child, the Catman, the Spaceman, the Demon. I don't like those personas, and I think those personas was created during the comic book era, during the Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park era, or Kiss Meets the Phantoms, Attack of the Phantoms, wherever you're from. I think it was created for that, because I never really looked at Gene as being a demon. I always thought Gene was like a vampire, because he talked even in his live liner notes something about wanting to eat people, and he's got the thing that comes down like Dracula, and he's got the bat wings over his eyes, and he had the little things in the corners of his mouth, and he spit blood. And I always thought, well, me being my 7-year-old self, wow, he's a vampire and he's drank that much blood, because he's talked about, being 90 at one point in time. He was at I'm 93, you're 16, which is actually a Paul line, but you got to remember, I'm a 8-year-old kid, so I hear I'm 93, you're 16. I'm thinking, God, he's old. At 93, that's old. And how's he even still playing guitar? Because he was 93 to me, and because he said he was. But I always thought of him as a vampire. You see those photo shoots where he's got the cape on and it's got the real tall collar. I mean, he looked like a Dracula to me, and he didn't look like a demon. And then he comes out, with God of Thunder. I was raised by the demon. And I think that's where that persona came from. But you didn't really hear Peter called the Catman or Star Child or whatever, or Paul called Star Child. You really didn't hear him called that until about the time that all this merchandising was going on. But we didn't have internet. We didn't know what Kiss looked like. You could only see them if you caught them on a television special, or if you caught them on something like 2020, or Paul Lynde or whatever, which Paul Lynde was before me. And they were so mysterious, and they were so larger than life. I remember the first time I saw them for the Dynasty tour, it was just crazy. That was when they were kind of at the end of what I call vintage Kiss. They were kind of at the end on their way out. So I want to. I'm going to. Somebody's saying they can't hear anything. Can everybody else hear me? If you can hear me, just tell me you can hear me, because I think you can hear me. But Randall says he can't hear me. It held his comment because he cussed in it. But Randall, hopefully you can hear. I'm going to check up on the comments here, guys, so give me just a minute. Let's see. Some people, they're saying hey to everybody. Danny asked me if I was a fan of The Walking Dead or just casual. I'm a huge fan. If you go back and watch some of my early videos, the room I used to film in was our bedroom. And I used to film in front of the piano, the deconstructed piano. If you go back and watch some of my early Kiss videos, you see that deconstructed piano behind me. And there's nothing but Walking Dead stuff. There was nothing but Walking Dead stuff and Kiss stuff up on top of it. I've been a fan of The Walking Dead since the second season. And sorry about my dogs, guys. But I've been a fan of The Walking Dead since the second season. And I've got all the limited edition box sets. I've got the zombie. I've been meaning to make a video about all my stuff that I have from Walking Dead, because I've got the zombie head that you poke in the eye with the screwdriver and his head opens up. And I've got the tree walker. I've got the little Lego kits that you put together that made the different scenes, like the governor's room and Daryl on his bike and Rick in the hospital. And so I watch it even up to this day. I really like this season so far. I really like the Whispers. I'm enjoying Alpha, and I'm ready to see more of Beta. And I'm kind of a person, I kind of have a tendency to really like the bad guys. So, I really like the governor, and that was one fucked up dude. And so I really like the governor. He's probably and I really like Negan. So I kind of like the bad guys. Let's see. So let me check here. People are saying, hello, what's up? What time is it in the USA? It is in the East Coast. it's 9:20. If you're in the West Coast, it's what, 6:20 guys, West Coast guys. Y'all about 3 hours behind of us. And then Mountain Time, it's 7. Central Time, it's 8. And here on the East Coast, it's 9:20. So let's see. I have Kiss Live on 2, not in vinyl, not in great condition. I have a Kiss Alive 2 I can show you guys if you want to see. If y'all want to see any of my collection on my albums, you can just let me know. I'll gladly show them. See, you're seeing what time it is. My first album was Kiss Alive 2. 210 here in Ireland. Thank you for staying up with me, Marty. I know that you guys are several hours ahead of us. I've got fans out that way: Ireland, Germany, Britain, Japan, South America, South Africa. I've got a lot of international. I'm starting to get a lot of international fans. See, Jamie in Detroit, Bethany's on the East Coast with me. Harry's in Minnesota, so that's Central Time. Kiss Live 2 available to buy on CD, and we have the solo CDs in this area. Yeah, it's cool. I don't collect CDs so much. I try to collect vinyl, but I am working on rebuilding my my CD collection. I'm also working on building my 8-track collection back up. Right now, the only 2 8-tracks I have is Destroyer, and I have Alive. The only 2 8-tracks I have right now, but I am working on building those back up, even though I don't have an 8-track player. Try not to miss anything here. Joan says my first album was Dynasty, and Joan and Harry, I'm going to give them special props because they are 2 of my Patreon subscribers, and they support me financially. So I really appreciate those guys. I appreciate all of you, but they support me, and they get to request special videos and reaction videos, and some of the Q&A questions getting answered you see that I've been making come from them and come from people on my Patreon channel. So Joan actually requested an Aldo Nova retro album review, and that actually has been live on Patreon for about a week now, and it goes live on YouTube tomorrow. So be looking out for that. I had one go live today. Kiss box set for Wicked Lester's version of She, which I really kind of dug it. I didn't know if I wanted to blow that surprise or not, but I really kind of dug it. But you can watch that video and see exactly what I thought about it. So Aldo Nova will be the next one, and then sometime next week is going to be Def Leppard Pyromania retro album. So you get a little insight there. Kiss Band Fan says the original 4 is my favorite Kiss lineup. Let's see. Bethany says, hold on a second here, my computer's doing something crazy. Bethany says, my first was Destroyer in 76. And Bethany, I think we talked about that one time in another chat room with Nothing to Lose during his thing. And Nothing to Lose 75. Leg's a great guy. Look him up. Rick with All For You Demons, a great guy. Look him up. Found out that Peter Criss was out of Kiss from Sistine Magazine. I remember that episode. I remember that magazine. Do you remember it? It was the one where somebody was pointing, and it was from the Dynasty one, and it was like, Peter Criss leaves Kiss. And I remember that. I had those 16 magazines, and I remember that clearly. Jamie says, my first was Alive I got for Christmas. I know you guys can see these, but I'm just reading them out so you guys know that I am seeing them. Widow's Peak. Yeah, Widow's Peak, Tom. Will they re-release all the albums remixed like they did Destroyer? I don't think so, but I can tell you what you can expect. You can expect a lot of reissues for the 45th anniversary because they already have the first Kiss album on the Sound and Vinyl on pre-order for its clear vinyl with black swirls in it. I haven't pre-ordered mine yet, but I'm going to. But you can expect them to do, I don't know if they'll do every one of them, but you can expect them to do reissues for the 45th anniversary for a lot of albums. I can, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. Because they just redid the solo albums, which it's like $199, which I want, but I hadn't got it yet. So if somebody wants to buy me that, you'd be my new best friend. Let's see. I saw them on Kiss cards. Yeah, I used to have all the Kiss cards. I don't have that stuff anymore. Joan says she can hear me. That's cool. Can hear me fine. I'm finally catching up. I think I remember Paul being referred to as the lover in the 70s. I hear that too. Everybody's saying they can hear me. That's awesome. Love Gun. Now 20 people. Oh, cool. Let's see. Favorite villain is the Governor. Yes, I really love the Governor too. And let's see. Now, any idea when Kissology 4 comes out? Man, there's no telling. There's no telling when, Tommy Thayer is the curator of all that stuff, and he's been too busy imitating Ace. So, I'm sorry, I had to. But it's not his fault. He's just getting paid to do. You go to your job. Here's what I tell people. It ain't that I don't like Tommy. It ain't that I don't like Eric. Because I think they're both good musicians. But they're just doing what they're getting paid to do. And it's like if you go to your job and your boss says, hey, I know this isn't normally your job, but I need you to go in and somebody pooped all over the walls in one of the bathrooms. I need you to go in there and clean it. And you'd be like, man, I don't want to do that. Well, that's what you're getting paid to do. That's part of your job duties. You have a decision to make. You can either quit and go find work somewhere else, or you can do what your boss is telling you to do. And right now, they're doing what their boss is telling them to do. To me, the people I blame the most is Gene and Paul. It's just laziness. They've said before in the past that anybody else wearing the makeup is, what do they call it? Ralph made a video about it. I can't remember the word that Paul used. It leaves my brain right now. One of you can probably chat it in. Diluted. Anybody else to wear the makeup is diluted. So, but the only reason they got Tommy and Ace wearing the makeup, and I'll get off this subject because I don't want to spin off into this because this isn't 70s Kiss. But the only reason they're wearing it is because of this right here, that money. It's the only reason they're wearing it. Let's see. We've got a southern tip of Vancouver. Awesome. Just found out that Beta is one of the actors from Sons of Anarchy. Yes, he played, what was his name? The guy that always wore the toboggan. What was his name? His name's leaving me, but I've watched that series all the way through twice. Opie, right? Is it Opie? Is who he played? But let's see. Saw Ace live January 3rd in Seattle front row. And Ace is sounding better. I mean, he has his days. I watch a lot of this stuff live on YouTube and stuff. And Ace is sounding better. Cream Magazine was favorite. First Kiss concert was 1977. And what do you think of Eddie Trunk? He has a similar view. I listen to Eddie Trunk, and I don't always agree with everything that he says. But I didn't adopt my view from him. I think we just both kind of have that same view. I don't mind those guys. I don't mind those guys being in Kiss. I don't. Like I said, I've liked Eric Singer all the way back since he was in the band with Bruce. Bruce and Tommy have been in, Eric and Tommy have been in the band longer than Ace and Peter was. You have to remember that. Peter didn't even make it 10 years. And Ace barely, if he didn't make it 10 years, he barely made it 10 years. And, now Eric's been in the band for 20. Eric Singer's been in the band for 20 years. And I think Tommy Thayer's been in the band for 17 years. So they've put in their time. And I don't have anything against those guys personally. I never have. I don't have anything against them as musicians. I've heard people attack them as musicians. I think that Eric Singer is an amazing, awesome drummer. But, I don't like them wearing the makeup. Paul is a creative dude. He created Eric's makeup and he created Vinny's makeup. He could have created two new characters But those two new characters would not have sold as much as Ace's makeup and Peter's makeup. And really the only people it really bothers is the hardcore Kiss fans. That's the only people it really bothers. The new people that this is their Kiss and they think Tommy is Ace, because you see people where they'll call Tommy Ace and stuff like that, they don't know, they don't care. And I'm not saying that's, and I really hate for newer Kiss fans to get called casual fans, because I don't think they are casual fans. I just think they came in, a lot of, if you watch my video with Scott Rock when we reviewed Psycho Circus, when Kiss came back together and put on the makeup and everything and did the reunion tour, they picked up a whole bunch of new fans. But Peter and Ace was in the band just such a limited time, from like 97 to like 2002. And, and both of them were in and out during that time. And by then, that's the era of Kiss that I'm in right now doing my reviews. Is the next one I'm reviewing, I've been listening to this week, is the Millennial Concert. The Millennial Concert was originally recorded in 2000 on, 1999, 2000 on New Year's Eve, but it didn't come out till like 4 years later, and Symphony. And so you had all four original members playing on the Millennial Concert, and then you had Peter, Gene, Paul, and Tommy Thayer playing on the Millennial Concert, because Peter had left shortly after the reunion tour. He left during the farewell tour, somewhere around in there, and Eric came in for a little while, and it was, so then the version of Kiss was, other than, Gene and Paul, was Ace and Eric Singer. Eric Singer had the Catman makeup on. And then Ace left, and so to do the Melrose concert, Melrose Australia concert, to do Symphony, they had to have at least 3 original members, so they couldn't get Ace back, so they brought back Peter. And so it was Peter, Tommy Thayer, Ace, or Gene and Paul. So, but let's get back to 70s Kiss. Let's talk about 70s Kiss. I'm going to ask some questions, and I want you to chime in. I'm going to get caught up. Everybody, don't ask a question or don't say anything for a minute. Let me get caught up, and then I'm going to ask a question. I want you guys to chime in on some answers, okay? Let me see. Let me catch up here. First Kiss show was a reunion tour. Steve Anderson says, I'm a blue Kool-Aid drinker, no Ace, no go. Some people say I drink that same blue Kool-Aid. I sip on it, but I don't guzzle it. Let's see. They're very contradictory. You're right, Tom S. Eric Singer's a great drummer. You're right, Kiss Army. Let's see. Are there any other series you're still viewing? Danny says. I watch a lot of crap. I watch a lot of stuff on Netflix. Like, I just watched House on Haunted Hill twice. I'm watching a lot of serial killer stuff. I watch a lot of paranormal stuff, like Paranormal Lockdown, Kindred Spirits. I rewatch a lot of Ghost Hunter stuff from way back from the days. I watch a lot of stuff like that. And I watch a lot of series on Netflix and stuff like that. I just got finished watching Ozark a few weeks back. So I watch a lot of stuff. Let's see. Millennial Show. Oh, Steve Anderson was at the Millennial Show. That's awesome. Tommy plays lead on the song Psycho Circus. He does. And he actually plays on that album quite a bit. And Bruce Kulick plays on it actually a little bit. Hardcore doesn't bother me one bit. Eric and Tommy, so much better musicians. I think they're more reliable overall. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I think that's the word for me, is they're reliable. Did you hear Love Is Blind or Lita from Gene's demos? Yes, I did, and I'm actually going to be doing some future reactions and reviews on demos. Just so you know, a little tidbit there. Not to me, Ace is more feel of Van Halen play. Everybody, and I don't try to get into who's better because a lot of people they try to always talk about who's better. And if you have a preference of who's better, that's fine. That's your opinion. Let me get a drink real quick. If you have an opinion of who's better, that's fine. Me personally, I try not to get too much into who's better. Was Peter better than, because everybody tries to give Peter shit. Every drummer that's been in Kiss since Peter, everybody says is better. Everybody says Eric Carr was better, Eric Singer was better, but to me, Eric Carr, Eric Singer, Peter Criss, they all have their own style of playing. They all have their own style. And so if you ask me, if you want to say who's better and you go by technicality, who is better, then I'm going to get shot down in flames because the Eric Carr fans, God rest his soul, are going to hate me for saying that I believe Eric Singer is the better drummer in Kiss. Better than the other two. Because he's the most technical. But do I think he's the better drummer in Kiss? No, because I don't determine who's better. Who's my favorite guitarist? I've had people ask me that, who's my favorite guitarist? My favorite guitarist from Kiss is probably Bruce, even though I love Ace too, but there's some, because, and don't, like I said, don't get me wrong, I love Ace's songwriting. I love his songs. Shock Me is one of my top 5 favorite all-time songs. Rocket Ride's one of my top 5 favorite all-time Kiss songs. But Carnival of Souls and Revenge that Bruce was given a little bit of control over and Gene took the reins on, to me those two albums kick ass. And I think that Bruce, especially his guitar work on Carnival of Souls, just really shines. Some of his solos is phenomenal on that and on Revenge. And so I really love those two albums. But I don't sit and I don't get too caught up on who I think is better or whatever. I don't get caught up on that. So I think all Kiss members are good and have their own place and their own time and their own right. Even the two that's in there now that's contracted, they're not official members of Kiss. Even when Peter and Ace came back for the reunion and the farewell tours, they were just contracted. They were not back in Kiss. They were hired guns, just like Eric and Tommy. So let's see. So I have a question. I've got a question I want to pose to the people. And we're going to talk about 70s Kiss, and we're going to reminisce just a little bit. So I'm going to put my phone down where I can see here. If you hear me rummaging stuff around, it's me moving my microphone around and stuff. And how are we on time? 9:38. Everybody okay to hang out a little bit longer? I don't want to get this too long, but I want to have fun. Talk about some Kiss memorabilia. I told you guys that I lost most of my stuff, and most of my collection, like 99.5% of it, is not original anymore. I was digging in my attic because I know there's some original stuff that I do have from my original collection, and one is this belt buckle that's in very crappy condition because this is an original belt buckle that little 8-year-old Brant used to wear. But this is original from 1977. And so it's even lost like the little protective covering it had on the front of it. But yeah, so that's a belt buckle. That's from my original collection that I had. I had this since I'm 49, turning 50 in April. And I've had this since I was 8 years old. That just amazes me. As many times as I've moved that I've not lost it. And I do have, and I know a lot of you will be like, well, we won't believe you till we see it. But I have somewhere in this house, and I think it's in my closet. And my closet's big and it's full of crap. But I have the Teflon Kiss jacket from 1977, 77, 78. And I've got it. I just got to find it but I know I have it. And when I do have it, it's going to go in here. It'll be in here in my room with me. I need to clean out my closet, and I will find it. So Tom says my birthday is in April. I'll be 52. Yeah, my birthday is April 14th, so I'll be 50, the big 50 in April. So I want to talk about some of the original Kiss. And I want to talk about, we're just going to kind of go through the albums really quick. And I want everybody chiming in. If I see some people say some things, oh yeah, just chime in how old we're all going to be. Bethany's going to be 53. Steve is 48. Yeah, we're all old. Tom's 52. Who's the oldest here? Who's older than 53? And who's the youngest? I'd like to be curious to see who's the oldest and who's the youngest out of the 21 of us that's here. 52, 51. John's 51 in July, 52 in May. So yeah, so YouTube says that my demographic is 45 to 55. So I'm starting to see that here. 17 years old, Kiss band fan. Turned 17 February. Awesome. 18 years old, Danny. I love seeing young Kiss fans. My daughter's 20. My daughter Brooke, she did the review Hot in the Shade with me. She adores that album. We had so much fun making that video. I love getting my kids involved. I like having special guests, but I love, and if you've watched any of my videos, you've all seen my son Steven. A lot of those albums he had never heard, and he listened to them for the first time and then gave his true, honest review. And he wouldn't consider himself a Kiss fan before he started, but now he considers himself a Kiss fan. And the album that he says is his favorite, that he considers the most relevant, Carnival of Souls. So let's see. So so it looks like we're up to 54 is the oldest, and 17 is the youngest. You don't get a prize, but it's just, I guess, bragging rights. So first Kiss album. Let's talk about the first Kiss album really quick. Who was first Kiss album was Kiss. If Kiss was your first Kiss album, chime in. And while that person's chiming in, what's your favorite songs off of Kiss? What's your favorite songs off this album? So we got Strutter, Nothing to Lose, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Let Me Know, Kissin' Time, Deuce, Love Theme from Kiss, 100,000 Years of Black Diamond. What's your favorite songs off here? I tell you, my favorite song off of here, man, I've got so many songs I like off this album. I don't really necessarily like them in this format. I mostly like them off of Alive. But I really, really like Cold Gin, Firehouse. Firehouse is one of my favorite songs. And he wrote Firehouse when he was 16 years old. And he ripped it off of a song called Fire Brigade. And he came up with the line, "Get the firehouse because she sets my soul afire." And he wrote the rest of the song around that. And I mean, Paul, regardless of how you feel about Paul today, Paul Stanley kicks ass as a songwriter. He is hands down the best songwriter in Kiss. To me, he is. He's the best songwriter. I'm not saying that he's wrote all the best songs, but I'm saying he's the best songwriter in my opinion. But Firehouse, Nothing to Lose. I mean, I really love Nothing to Lose. I mean, God, it's about anal sex. Come on. I mean, I was 8 years old listening to this. I really like Let Me Know. It's supposed to be originally Sunday Driver. Love Theme from Kiss. I hate the version that's on here. I like the Acrobat version. I like where they go into that, "'Cause you're much too young," da-na-na-na-na-na-na, that's where Paul ripped off that da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. That riff he ripped off the beginning of Detroit Rock City. So, but I'll be reviewing that song in my Kiss box set, so be looking for that. I saw that it isn't in there. I just happened to see it by accident. Don't get on me for looking ahead, but I just happened to see it was on there, and I was like, hot damn, yes, because I get to talk about Acrobat now, because I love Acrobat. And I wish Life in the Woods is on that box set, but I don't think it is. And if you've never heard Life in the Woods, you can go looking it up, but I'm going to do a review on it too. Life in the Woods is a Kiss song that they used to play in their early days. They played it at the Daisy, at the Popcorn. And man, if you've never heard that Daisy or that Popcorn recording, or as Phyllis from The Office says, popcorn. And I don't know, is that how Northerners up in like Pennsylvania, do y'all say popcorn? Is there any of y'all's up there that it's like CARN, like instead of CORN? But what? I got distracted. I had a squirrel. Life in the Woods. If you listen to that concert, it's like they're letting people up on the stage because there's like people are like, Life in the Woods, B.A.'s It sound like they're all drunk and falling around. And some of those first Kiss shows are very disorganized. I love listening to them because you hear Peter, I'd like to thank Julio for letting it coming out, and he's like, it's not. And then and Paul mentioned that in his book that a lot of those first Kiss shows. And they mention it in his book, or they either mention it in this book right here. If you don't have this book, get this book and read this book, because this book is the Coventry Club. That's right, it is at the Coventry. But if you don't have this book, it's basically an awesome book, and it's basically a book of just interviews and accounts of people close to the band and Kiss themselves, and they're talking about things. And it is a excellent book. It's Nothing to Lose: The Making of Kiss from 1972 to 1975 with Ken Sharp, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and there's a bunch of other people in there. Like I said, you hear stuff from Ace and Peter and all the people, the roadies, the people that was with them, a lot of people from the label and stuff like that. You hear read a lot of really cool stuff in that book. Harry, you need to take the time to read that book. And if you don't have it, y'all should get it. And I'm working through this book, and it's really good. If you're going to get a book, go ahead and get this one too. Go ahead and get this one, Behind the Mask, with David Leaf. David Leaf with Ken Sharp. I'm working my way through this. This is a good book too. It's kind of like the official biography of Kiss. But so go back and listen to some of that old stuff, man. Everybody's talking, Ace is talking, and Paul just basically said at one point in time he stepped up and he became the front man and told everybody else basically shut up, And Steve Anderson says reading Ace's book again. And guys, if I don't see your comments, I'm sorry. I will go back and read them. If I miss your comment, don't get upset at me. But I haven't read Ace's book. I started reading it digitally, and I didn't get to. I think I might have got real super busy at work and had to work in the evenings and didn't get the chance to read it. I haven't read Ace's all the way through yet, and I haven't read Peter's yet either. But I am going to read them. I've read Gene's book and I've read Paul's book. And I don't have any interest in Paul's new book. So this was not my first Kiss album. Did anybody say this is their first Kiss album? I didn't see. I mean, if this was your first Kiss album, I don't think nobody did. But so let's move on. Let's move on a little bit. Let's go. Do y'all want to go to the next album, Hotter Than Hell? We'll do that. I'll pull out my original Hotter Than Hell here. My original is in pretty good shape. Picked it up for $11. I'm looking for a better one, but it plays good. Hotter Than Hell. Is this anybody's first album? Bethany said no one did. Bethany, I'm going to have to maybe set you up as a moderator in one of my videos sometime, one of my live chats. I like having somebody to help me corral the crowd. Maybe somebody who, maybe Bethany or maybe Harry or Joan or somebody that would like normally be here. But let's see. This album, this is one of the albums I really wanted to talk about, was Hotter Than Hell. Because this is when Kiss was not kid-friendly. They weren't kid-friendly on the first album. because think about it. I thought about the back door. I didn't know what to say. Yay, yay, you know. But once I got a baby and I tried every way, she didn't want to do it, but she did anyway. You got nothing to lose, you know. But Hotter Than Hell, man, the photo shoot from this. Have you guys looked on the internet? You can look up, I think you can Google XXX Kiss, like XXX Kiss. Don't do it now. Stay in the chat with me. But look up XXX Kiss photo shoot or something like that. XXX Kiss photo shoot. You will see a website that has the photo shoot, pictures from this photo shoot. And this is basically an orgy. These photos on the back of this album were taken from an orgy. Paul was drunk as he could be. You know, Peter's girl was naked. You know, they got her titty, you know, starred out, which I used to just stare at that because I'm a boob man anyway, and I just kind of stare at that and be like, ooh, titty. You know, Paul's with the blue-faced girl. You know, what's up with that? And Gene, I saw a photo of this on Instagram today. They actually shot this like in the lobby. I mean, not the lobby, but in the alley. Because you see a picture of Gene, and he's got that same goblet in his hand. He's got on that same outfit. And there's like dumpsters and shit behind him. And he's standing there with like a thing, like a torch, like he's getting ready to blow some fire. And, you know, you see it's just like these two bottom ones, like Ace and Peter's and Gene's, they're like cut out. Paul's is the only one that looks like they kept it in natural surrounding. But even though the songs on here is not really too bad, I mean, Mainline is, you know, it's got some drug references to it. But Got to Choose is, did anybody say this is their first album? Favorite Kiss album, JC Campos. Thanks for the comment, JC. There's Waffle SS, No Regrets. Yeah, Ace's albums. Tom says Got to Choose, Going Blind. Parasite's kick-ass. Parasite's probably my favorite song on this album, just because I don't really like the way this album is recorded, but it has kind of started to grow on me, because this is like a metal album. I mean, it's kind of dark and just muddled, but the way that guitar comes in, that just the way it comes in. Going Blind, I love the way. Going Blind is a great song. Got to Choose is a great song. Hotter Than Hell's kind of played out for me. Usually when I hear Hotter Than Hell come, I'm just looking for Firehouse to be after it. Let Me Go Rock and Roll is still great, but I love the live version. You cannot beat the live version of Let Me Go Rock and Roll. All the Way, I'm not a big fan of. Watching You is it's a stalker song. I mean, damn, you gotta love a stalker song. Limping As You Do, and I'm Watching You. The song starts off with him talking about somebody limping, and it's Gene. Mainline, Coming Home, great song, and I know a lot of people love Strange Ways, and I caught a bunch of shit for it. I'm not a fan of Strange Ways. I wish I would have heard a live version of Strange Ways, but on the album it just kind of drudges along, and it's just basically got that same riff over and over and over. It's so monotonous. It's like da na 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 da da na. You know what I mean? It just kind of it doesn't do anything for me. But if you like it, hey, that's great. So Sid, Penn's fan said he likes Strange Ways, and that's awesome. Yeah, it was an orgy, Bethany. It was. Waffle says he likes Rip and Destroy. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. We're just reading comments here. Great album, but horrible sound. Yes, Greg, I agree. And the remaster did not do much to improve it. I think the only way you could re-improve it would be to re-record it. And no. Because a lot of times the way these stuff's recorded, like a lot of these things, they recorded them on 8-track and 16-track. I think the first album was recorded on 16-track, maybe 8-track. But I know in the very beginning, they weren't recording on very many tracks. They recorded on 8 tracks, 16 tracks. And so a lot of the effects were recorded on the track, so there's no way to really strip it off. Ace started the show with Parasite. Let's see. I was just reading this comment from Kiss Band Fan. Yeah, I agree with that, Kiss Band Fan. You guys can see it there. But my favorite song off this album is probably Parasite, but damn, there's some good ones off of it. And I love listening to it. I do listen to it, but I wish the sound was a lot different. And I also have, I'll just show you my versions I have of these albums too. I also have the 2014 version that is still sealed. So let's jump to, hope you guys aren't bored. I just said we was going to talk 70s Kiss, so I didn't say what. Dressed to Kill. Now, some people, the first Kiss album is their favorite of the three. For a lot of people, Hotter Than Hell's their favorite of the three. My favorite of the three, the first three, is this one right here. I love Dressed to Kill. And one of the main reasons why I love Dressed to Kill is because of its sound. And it was basically self-produced. Neil Bogart was in there with them, but Paul himself said Neil Bogart was trying to get out on the cheap, and they'd play a take, and Neil would be like, "That's good, next take," and Paul would be like, "No, we're going to do it again." And sometimes they said Neil would just sit in there and do coke, or set up with his feet up on the control board and basically just hit record. They basically recorded this album live. And you can tell that this is the album, I think, of the first three albums, that they're the best musically. I mean, the way Room Service starts off, I mean, it's like da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, it's like, and it just immediately picks up and goes. And these guys were very road weathered by then. They had a lot of road experience. They'd played a lot of shows. They were still broke. They were living on like $50 a week, and so they were broke. They were not living in nice places at this time. They didn't start making any money until Alive came out. Alive was their make or break album. But man, my favorite song off this album. Is anybody noticed? Was this their first album? Is Dressed to Kill your first album? I know when we get later on, we're going to start hitting first albums. We may still be a little too early. This is my this is my Filmworks label version. I've got several versions of this. This is the first version that I had, but my favorite song off this album has got to be She. We got Room Service, Two Timer. I like Room Service. I'm not a big fan of Two Timer. Ladies in Waiting is okay. Getaway kicks ass. I wish Ace would have sang that. I wish Ace would have sang all of his songs, Cold Gin and stuff like that. I wish he would have sang all of them. Rock Bottom, I freaking love. It's too short. All these songs are too short. This album's too short. They do extend these songs on Alive. They put in extra solos. Rock and Roll All Night don't even have a solo on this album. Listen to it. It does not have a solo. I was listening to this the other day, and I'm so used to, like I said, the live version is the first version I heard. I was listening to this album the other day, writing a review for another band, and it did Rock and Roll All Night, and I went, there's not, and I actually backed it up on the album. I'm like, there's not a solo in that damn song. But Rock Bottom is good. The intro, a lot of people like the intro, but to me the intro gets a little long, but they were doing it because this album's a short album. The pauses, if you listen to this on vinyl, the pauses in between the songs are crazy long. It's like you'll actually find yourself looking at the album going, okay, when's the next, now it's going to start. But they didn't have any material. They had to borrow, as I said in my She review, if you've watched it, She was a Wicked Lester song that they scrapped, from Wicked Lester, they put it on this album basically because they didn't have enough material, and I'm glad they did, because the version that they have on here is Kiss, and it is, even though the Wicked Lester version is good, this version is the best. It's probably my favorite song. Probably my second favorite song on this album is probably Come On and Love Me. Come On and Love Me comes on and I get cold chills. I mean, it's just so good. Anything for My Baby, She is good. Love Her All I Can is awesome. That's also another Wicked Lester song. I've not gotten to that on the box set yet, but I do know that that's a Wicked Lester song, or that's a song from the Wicked Lester era. And then Rock and Roll All Night. I appreciate Rock and Roll All Night for what it is, but it's kind of like Beth to me. It doesn't really do anything for me because I've heard it so many damn times, and I've never been a fan of Beth to begin with. You know, forgive me, Bethany, but I've never been a big fan of Beth to begin with. But I do appreciate it for what it did for Kiss. It gave them that huge hit that basically, think about this, in an alternate universe. Bob Ezrin doesn't like Beth. You know the story about Beth. You know, that was written originally called Beck, and it was written by Stan Penridge from back when Peter was in Chelsea, however you say it, and he played it to Gene in the limo on the way to Pontiac, Michigan. He played it for Gene, and he was singing it, and he told Gene at the time he wrote it, and Gene's like, you should take that to Bob, and so he took it to Bob, and Bob took it away from being an acoustic version like it was originally for Chelsea, and made it into the version with all the strings and everything. The thing about that, if that had not happened, would Kiss had achieved that height of success that they did in the 76 or 77 and 78, would they have achieved that without Beth? I think they still would have. But Beth brought the chicks to the concerts. And we all know that chicks, Bethany, I know we got Bethany in here, and we've got, I think we still have Joan in here. You guys can testify to me that if you have chicks coming to the concerts, you got guys coming to the concerts. You got chicks buying your albums. You might not have guys buying your albums, but you're going to have guys coming to your concerts. And that's, where they really made their money, is at their concerts. Yeah, Bethany's back. Hey, good. If they had not had Beth, they probably still would have been big, but I don't know if they would have been as big as they got, because that's what really did it for them after Alive 2, or after Alive, that's what did it for them. My next version of, I'm going to show these whether you care or not. I'm just trying to find somewhere to put albums down. Just pump my feet. This is my version of Dressed to Kill, and I just got this one. This is a blue label. I got this from a viewer named Paul. I don't know if he's in the feed or not. Paul, if you're on the stream, please say hello. But I don't know if he is or not. But he sent me this because we were talking one night, and I told him about me having the Filmworks label. And he's like, oh, dude. He's like, and I told him not only did I have the Filmworks label of it, but that it always skipped. Yes, Bethany, Beth did put them in the stratosphere. It was huge for them. And had they not had Beth, I don't think they would have been as big as they had been without it. But my buddy Paul sends me this First Press blue label to replace my skipping Filmworks label. And I just cannot appreciate, I can't even begin to put a sentence together to tell him how much I appreciate it. Joan says, I like Beth, but it's so overplayed. Yeah, and I agree. It is very overplayed. And then I have my 2014 version of Dressed to Kill that's still sealed. All my 2014s are still sealed. I don't see a reason to open them. People are like, why don't you open your sealed albums? I don't see a reason to open them. And then Alive. Now, how many people, I'm kind of getting curious now, how many people their first album was Alive? I changed my name to Beth because of that song. Yeah, I think I saw you say that in Nothing to Lose's chat, Bethany. I think I saw you say that there also. So, who we got? Who we got that's your first album is Kiss Alive? And I'm not drinking beer tonight, just so you know. So this won't be a 3 Beer Brand episode. I'm not going to be drunk by the end of the podcast and be blurbering. No first persons. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much time on Alive because it's basically the first 3 albums. The hits from the first 3 albums are what would be considered the best concert material from the first 3 albums. It wasn't my first, but it's the best rock and roll album of all time. You know, a lot of and that's a great debate between which album is better, Alive 2 or Alive. A lot of people say Alive is because it had the songs from the first 3 albums, and that's when everybody feels that Kiss was really Kiss. After Alive, beginning with Destroyer, they begin to slip. You know, that's when the cracks begin to fade, and that's when the status begin to take over, and the egos begin to take over, and they begin to start listening to people who was not necessarily, good for the band to be listening to. So, I understand that, and then Alive 2, well, it's only 3 tracks of actual live stuff, and then they had the 4th track, the studio track, because they didn't want to duplicate any previous songs. That's the only live album that they didn't duplicate previous songs on. Any live album after that, from 2 all the way to Kiss Rocks Vegas, they duplicate songs. So I think Alive 2 kind of got shafted for that reason. I would have loved to sing Alive 2 with some of the songs from Alive 1 on it. Songs that they continued to play, like Deuce and Firehouse and stuff like that. Take Me. Heck, they had Take Me. They played it, and it was in the Japanese. What, you can look it up from Budokan, from the Lost Alive 2. You can find Take Me. But Alive is really good. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 copies of Alive. I've got my version here that is, I don't know if it's an original or not. Let me pull the album out really quick to see. Just got to basically lift one out to look. We see if it's a blue label, if it's a tan label. It's blue label. Yeah. So, and I've got the book, and I know unless you've been living under a rock, you've not seen this book. But I'll show it really quick. Oh, that's the back. Here's the front. And then it's got this inside. It's Peter and Gene. And it's got the pictures and the flames and Paul and Ace. And then the back. So, what's your favorite, I guess we'll talk about it. What's your favorite track off of this? What do you really like? I mean, all these songs are good. I like that they started with Deuce. I can't believe they didn't start the first Kiss album with Deuce, because that's what they started their concerts with back in the day. They started with Deuce. Why they started it with Strutter, I don't know, but they should have. The first Kiss album should have started exactly the way this album starts. It should have been Deuce, and then it should have been Strutter. I really love the version of Hotter Than Hell and Firehouse on here. I love how Hotter Than Hell goes right into Firehouse. I like that it's upbeat and live sounding, and then it goes right in that da-na-na-na, I love that. She is amazing on here. Man, like I said, Cold Gin's amazing on here. Watching You is amazing on here. I like, it fades in, and as it's fading in, you hear that dun 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 dun. I just love the riff in Watching You. I love The way it just seems to climb up and down the neck like a spider. It's just awesome. And then that bump, it's awesome. But man, Nothing to Lose is good. Come On and Love Me's good. Parasite's good. The whole damn album's good. It's just awesome. Let's see what people are saying. Deuce, Let Me Go Rock and Roll. Let Me Go Rock and Roll on here is amazing. It really is good. It's got that extended, that where they do that breakdown and then they go into that long solo. It's like a jam, and a lot of 70s albums had those jams that they did. I really love Let Me Go Rock and Roll on here too. Rock Bottom. Deuce should have started Kiss's first album. Yep. Let's see. Watching You, Nothing to Lose, Cold Gin, Let Me Go Rock and Roll. Yeah, I agree, man. Like I said, the whole album's good. Let me show you my versions real quick. So I've got that a live version there that I just showed you. I've got the 2014 reissue that's still sealed. I've got this version too that's got I've got the Kiss book in it. And let me take a real quick peek and see if the album is blue or tan. It's blue, so I've got two. I think one's a first press and I think one's a second press. And then I've got this polygram version, which is kind of rare from what I understand. It actually is it's what they call a part of the Priceless collection, or its model is PRID 3, but it's really weird because it's got, let me show you the inside of this. So you guys know what the inside of Alive looks like, right? It's got the notes, it's got the love notes. Let me put this over here. The camera's backwards. So it's got the love notes. And then over here on this side, it's got the first 3 Kiss albums, right? All right. So let me show you what this thing looks like, and it's going to trip you out. Whenever I bought this and I opened it up and everything and I started looking at it, I was like, holy crap, that's really weird. Canadian, yeah, I think it is too, Harry. I think it's a Canadian pressing too, but so the album cover's really slick and really glossy. I don't know if you can kind of see that there. But it's not the regular style of, it's really slick. And on the back, you see that it's got these things here. And it says here up in the corner, PRID. But when you open it up, it's got the letters. But then when you come over here, it's got Kiss, Destroyer, and Dynasty inside of Alive. Albums that wasn't even made when Alive was originally made, but they had been made by the time this was pressed. So yeah, so yes, Priceless Collection, Destroyer, and Dynasty as well. Yep. So that's part of the Priceless Collection is what they call it. So everybody okay? Everybody hanging out? What about an hour and 15 into this? I was thinking about going about 2 hours. So if y'all want to hang about another 15 minutes, and then I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to, I'm only going to go up to probably Kiss Alive 2. So here we go. I'm curious. I'm getting real curious here. Destroyer. First Kiss album. Whose first Kiss album is Destroyer? Show of hands. Mine. My first Kiss album, Destroyer. Who else? Who else first Kiss album? Waiting to see stuff coming in. I know I drink very loudly. I'm very thirsty. Nobody? First Kiss album? Joe had it on 8-track. Tom had it on 8-track. Bethany. Steve Anderson, first song I heard was Shout It Out Loud. It's either Destroyer or Live 2. I really can't remember. And Harry, I go back and forth. I actually had to ask a family member because I got Destroyer and Live 2 like within a week's time. But yeah, this is my first album. So, favorite songs, guys. Favorite songs. While I show you my Destroyers I've got. One of these, this is a first press that just got sent to me by my buddy Paul. First album, period, Bethany. Cool. My first album was actually an Elvis album. And I think it was, God, I had a lot of Kiss albums because my mom listened to Kiss. A lot of Elvis albums because my mom listened to Elvis. But the first Elvis album that I remember is the one live via satellite and the one live from Madison Square Garden. I can still see Elvis on the front of them, on both of them. On one of them, he's got the mic off to the side. But now the first Elvis album I remember actually coming out and me and my mom buying was Elvis Moody Blue, the one just before he passed away, and it was on blue vinyl. And I hate that I lost that kind of stuff too. I lost all my collection. But this was my first Kiss album, and I got it by mistake. Like I said, everybody know. I don't know if you know the story or not, if you've seen my videos, but my grandma bought this for me by mistake because Elvis had died, and she took me down to a drugstore where they sold. They had a short order grill in there, and they also did milkshakes. And they sold albums kind of right as you walked in the door there. And she took me down there to buy a Kiss album, to buy an Elvis album because I was really upset that Elvis had passed away. I remember laying in the floor and crying when I heard Elvis passed. And they didn't have any Elvis albums, but they had this album. And when I was a kid about that time, they had these albums that was real popular. You would open them up and there'd be a comic inside of it. And you'd put the album on your record player and it would play like the audio, and it'd be a dramatization. There'd be sound effects and the people would be speaking like, it's like you were listening to a movie and you was reading the comic book. Well, my grandma bought this for me and she thought that that's what this was. And she thought, because it looks very comic booky. To some people, this is their favorite album cover, Kiss album cover of all time. She bought this for me, and I took it home, and how's it start? It starts with the guy working in the garage, and, it used to always sound like he was in the kitchen washing dishes to me, or eating or whatever, but as I got older, you could tell he was working on a car, and he gets in his car and drives down the road, starts listening to music, and then the song starts. And I remember Detroit Rock City is the first Kiss song I ever heard, and I've probably heard it 100,000 times in the last 42 years, but I never get tired of it. It's my ringtone on my phone. The Detroit Rock City, this version, the Destroyer version. It's the ringtone on my phone. But let's see. This is the first press that my buddy Paul sent me, and it's a Blue Label first press there. They sent me that. Great shape. And I have this is the limited edition that came out last year. That's the red and black swirl vinyl. This is the 2014 edition. It's still sealed. And this is Resurrected edition, still sealed. Favorite song on this album's hand down Detroit Rock City. For this album to be as quintessential as it is to Kiss, there's a lot of people that don't like it. There's a lot of people, they don't like most of the songs on it. I like Detroit Rock City. King of the Nighttime World is great. God of Thunder's good. I actually like Paul's version of God of Thunder better, though. I like the upbeat tempo version that I played a clip of in my video whenever I reviewed this album. You can go on YouTube and listen to it. But it wouldn't have created the Demon. We wouldn't maybe have had the Demon. Had Ezrin. Think about all the things that Ezrin influenced. The man had such an influence on Kiss on this album. He's the one that got, because Paul didn't like Beth. He didn't like it. So it was Ezra that got it. Paul wanted to sing God of Thunder because he was trying to rip Gene off and say, I can write a demon song. And so he was basically mocking Gene by writing a song called God of Thunder. And he had lyrics in it like, we'll make love till we bleed and things like that. And Ezra was like, nope, you need to give this song to Gene. So Ezra had Gene cut it, and the rest is history. Great Expectations, a lot of people don't like Great Expectations. It depends on whatever day. Flaming Youth I love. Flaming Youth is probably my second or third favorite song on this album. I love Flaming Youth. I like Sweet Pain. Sweet Pain is about BDSM, people. BDSM. My leather fits tight around me. My whip is always beside me. You want the same thing every day. I'll teach you love in a different way. You'll learn to love me and my sweet pain. BDSM, people. Shout It Out Loud. A lot of people like Shout It Out Loud. I actually like Shout It Out Loud better than Rock and Roll All Night. But God, it's played out. Beth, I've already said how I feel about Beth. Do You Love Me? I like Do You Love Me, but it's a little long in the tooth for me as well. So let's see. Let me check out and see what we got going on here. And guys, man, you guys are being so active. I really appreciate it. Yep, the good old days when you get you some Alka-Seltzer and get a Kiss album. Yep. Let's see. Burning Love's my ringtone. King of the Nighttime World. Detroit Rock City. Shout Out Loud. Flaming Youth. Great Expectations and Sweet Pain are fillers. Yeah, like I said, and this is a very experimental album, but I think Kiss grew a lot and learned a lot from Bob on this album. Not experimental first album. It's a very experimental album for them, and they grew a lot and they learned a lot, and that gave them the ability to make this album. And and I also have a version of Destroyer behind me, if you notice there. Let me grab these three from back here too. It's going to look kind of naked behind me here for a minute. How about them cat-like reflexes? So this is the one. No, the one that this is the one that I originally bought, and I've got in here. I've got the 45 when Detroit Rock City was the B side and Beth was the A side. So that's the re-release, and the Kiss. And this is a blue label, but it's a second press. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here because I'm getting ready to redo my things behind me. I always redo them every so often. So, Kiss getting their ass kicked by Bob Ezrin prepped them to make this album. So who's this first album? Source Player 65 said, I don't like Beth. Asked me if I don't like Beth. I like Beth. I just don't like it as much as most people do. And I appreciate Beth for what it did for Kiss. I just don't like it as much as most people do. But I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm not saying that I hate it. It's just I respect it for what it did. I appreciate it for what it did because I think it gave us the Kiss that we got in the late 70s. We wouldn't have had that Kiss had it not been for Beth. But, and I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm not saying I can't listen to it. But it's a song that's real easy for me to tune out on. And I just don't know why. I mean, it ain't that I don't like Peter's voice and I don't like Peter. I mean, I do like Peter and I like his voice. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of, I like Hard Luck Woman better than I like Beth. So let's see. My first Kiss album, Rock and Roll Over, Steve Anderson. Tom, Rock and Roll Over was yours. Eddie Kramer, Rules. Yes, I actually think that the first Kiss album would have been a whole lot better had it been produced by Eddie Kramer rather than Kerner and Wise. The demos were produced by Kramer, kicks ass. But so, Rock and Roll Over, first albums for people. This was not my first Kiss album. I think I got this sometime after I got Double Platinum, because I remember Double Platinum when it came out, and during that period of time, while I was waiting on the solo albums to come out, and you really didn't know what Kiss was doing, you just knew there was a crap ton of merchandise hitting the market. There was a crap ton of stuff about them on TV. You knew that they were making solo albums. They kind of went into hiding a little bit, and then you had the solo albums come out, and then the Kiss Meets Family Apart came on the TV, and that was a Saturday evening special. But during that time, between Double Platinum and the solo albums and all that stuff, was when my mom and my grandma bought me the remaining Kiss albums. I got Kiss Alive during that time. I got the first 3 Kiss albums during that time. I got Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun during that time. And I did, somebody mentioned that, I did get a lot of them at Christmas. I think Christmas of 77, I think I got like 5 or 6 Kiss albums. I remember getting a stack of them. And I was just opening album after album after album after album. And I was in heaven. I think I was in December of 7, it was either in December of 77 or 78. I think it was 77. But I may be mistaken. But so, we're going to talk about Rock and Roll Over here. So, Rock and Roll Over, this is my first one that I bought, and I got it out of all places. I got it off of eBay. No, I got it off of Etsy. I'm sorry. I got it from a lady I bought a lot from. I bought Love Gun from her, Kiss Alive 2 from her, and Rock and Roll Over. And they're in phenomenal shape. I mean, they're in awesome, amazing shape. And this one, though, it didn't have the sticker. Didn't have a sticker, didn't have a merch form. But I got all 3 albums for $31. Think about that. I got this album, Love Gun, and I don't think the Love Gun has the gun, but we'll look at it. But my Love Gun has something interesting. Ooh, I'm a dirty old man. And Kiss Alive 2 has the tattoos and stuff. But so that's my first. That. Oh yeah, go ahead and comment in those songs, guys. Go ahead and comment your favorite songs. And then I found this in a store. And this is an original, first press. It's got the sticker in it. You can see that that's a sticker. And you can break it apart. It's got the merch. This is when Kiss started doing the stickers and the merch forms and things of that nature. This is when the marketing machine really started kicking in. And let me see here. Yeah, this is a Casablanca camel. It's not a Filmworks. It's a camel. And I think this one that I had down here, I think it was a Filmworks. The first one I pulled out. Let me look. Yep, it's a Filmworks. So this would have been released after the camels came first, and then the Filmworks. So, and then I have the limited edition color vinyl. This is the orange translucent that just came out. And then I have the the 2014 reissue that came out. And I'm looking for another one that I know I have. And what did I do with it? Because I know I have it. Let me look here, y'all. Bear with me a second. Oh, it's the very first one I showed you. Yeah, I meant to point something out about this one, and I'm dropping my phone all over the place. This is a RCA version, and it's got the teardrop misprint. They call it a misprint, but it's got the teardrop misprint right there under Paul's eye, and that's my version of that. Favorite songs off of Rock and Roll Over. Let me see what people are saying. Mr. Speed, Baby Driver, Calling Dr. Love, I Want You. I do remember the TV commercial for the solo albums, Joe. If you watch my solo albums reviews, I actually have that commercial at the beginning of my solo album reviews. See. Paul's Teardrop, yep. Dr. Love, Hard Luck Woman, Baby Driver. My favorite is, I'm not a big fan of See You in Your Dreams. I like the version on Gene's solo album actually better. Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, I'm not a big fan of. I like Hard Luck Woman. I like Making Love. Making Love is badass. It's better on Kiss Alive 2, but Making Love is badass. Take Me's good. I Want You's good. Calling Dr. Love's good. Baby Driver's good. Baby Driver's really good. Ladies Room is good. Mr. Speed and Making Love are probably my two favorite songs on this album. I was talking about stuff that gives me chills earlier. That opening riff of Mr. Speed, that chills, man. I mean, even right now, chills. One of the best riffs that Paul Stanley wrote. I'm telling you, Paul Stanley, amazing songwriter. Let's see, so I have Radioactive on 45. While I was a kid, my dad threw out my sticker. Took me 20 years later to find one. I have the sticker. It only cost me $5. Canadian sticker is one piece. I really like hearing about other versions and everything. That's really cool. I really like hearing that. So that is Rock and Roll Over. So we're going to move on now to Love Gun. And I only have two versions of Love Gun, I think. Maybe. I could have swore I had more. Let me make sure something didn't get put in the wrong place here for a second. I've had people say before, is that your whole Kiss collection? Yeah. Is that all you got? Yeah, but I've been rebuilding my collection. I bought all this in less than 12 months. So, and like I said, I have multiples of a lot of things. I have another Love Gun around here somewhere because I have the 2014. I'm just going to go ahead and say that I have the 2014 version of this somewhere. I just don't know where right now, but I do have it. I just don't see it, so I'm not going to take time looking for it, but I have a 2014 version of Love Gun. I also have I have two versions of Love Gun other than that one. And the first one, I think this is part of that lot that I got off of Etsy, and it's got the insert in it, or the blood, that's when they started putting themselves on it. And this is an RCA release also. It says right there, you can see on the album, it actually says RCA release. It says on the back of the album, RCA release. It's the same as I got the same collection I got the Rock and Roll Over from. And this is my Kiss that has it has the gun in it, I believe. This Love Gun, and from what I hear, this is kind of a rare label variant that does not have the band on it. And from what I understand, they ran out of the printed ones, and they ran out of the ones that had Kiss, the band Kiss printed on it, and so they used these stock ones. At least that's what they told me over at Rockologists. If you ever check those guys out. And this has the gun inside of it. And it's been punched out. But I've got extra bangs. People have asked me, how'd you end up with extra bangs? So I've got like 3 extra bangs in here. And I've got the gun. That's, like I said, it's put together, it's been assembled. But I've also got the thing that it came out of. So, I would like to find in the wild or online a version that the gun is still in the paper and not in the cardboard and not punched out. But for now, I'll take what I've got. And so, was this your first Kiss album? Is anybody this was your first Kiss album? Am I missing it? It don't look like I'm missing anything. This wasn't my first Kiss album, but let's talk about songs I like off of it. Love Gun, I like okay. I like it actually better live. Got Love for Sale's really good. I like it. Tomorrow and Tonight's really good. Christine 16's good. Almost Human. A lot of people love Almost Human, and it's a Demon song. I understand that and everything. I can't get into Almost Human. I like the way Gene sings on it. I just don't like the notes and everything. I don't like the key it's written in and everything. Plaster Caster I really like. Shock Me is my hands down favorite song off this album. It's probably in my top 5 of favorite Kiss songs. Then She Kissed Me I hate. I can't stand it. I skip it every time. I Stole Your Love is great, and Hooligan is great. So a lot of people, this is their favorite Kiss album. So now that we've gone through the second phase of 3 Kiss albums, the question for you is between Destroyer, I don't know if I asked this question the first time, but between Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun, what's your favorite album? Mine's Love Gun. I like Love Gun. It edges Rock and Roll Over out a little bit, and even though my favorite all-time song is on Destroyer, I like more songs off of Love Gun. Rock and Roll Over, Rock and Roll Over. There's a lot of people that Rock and Roll Over is their favorite album, and there's a lot of people that like Destroyer. There's a lot of people that don't like Destroyer, and there's a lot of people that like Love Gun. And I don't know if I asked y'all earlier about which was your favorite Kiss album between the first album, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill. Mine is Dressed to Kill. And I don't know if I remembered to ask that question or not. But if I didn't, and you want to chime in which was your favorite 3 between those, you can do it. So we're going to move on to, this is the only copy I have of Kiss Alive 2. And this has been, if you watch my reviews, this is leading the pack as my favorite Kiss album because there are so many good songs on here, not just live songs or live songs, because some of these songs were recorded during sound check, and we all know the stories, a looping of the crowd noise and stuff like that. We all know the stories. But this is my favorite album, not just only because of what's on it, but what it came in. And this, to me, is what kicked off the 1977 Kiss mega hype machine. This is what kicked that off, was this album, in my opinion. And but Kiss Alive 2, who is Kiss Alive 2 is your first album? I'm real curious about this. Let's see. Bethany Dawn, Harder Than Hell, the first three. Love Gun, the first album, the first Kiss album. Thanks, guys, for answering. Like I said, I love the interaction. Let's see. Rocket Ride, All American Man are my favorite. Johnny, is your first album. Who else was this was their first album? Just Johnny? Then She Kissed Me. Yeah, John, I mean, like I said, to each their own. Like I said, I never will tell anybody, you suck for liking a song, because that's personal preference to me. Then She Kissed Me, the ending of Hard Luck Woman, the intro was dubbed in. Rocket Ride, favorite Kiss song. Between the three, Rock and Roll Over is my favorite. Alive 2 is my first album for my 10th birthday. Eric said, awesome, Eric. What a hell of a 10th birthday present. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit about the packaging, just so we can reminisce on it. But yeah, Alive 2, the iconic huge logo. I used to sit and draw this logo. And this is just so huge. I recreate this logo in some of my titles for my albums, for my videos. And it's just amazing. I mean, just Kiss Alive 2. And then the iconic photos of the band. And then on the back, I do not have the misprint. I'm still looking for it. On the back, the huge photos of the band on the back, and Gene just blood and just looking so gnarly and nasty, and Ace. I just think it's kind of funny that, the only reason that Kiss has the colors that they have now is because of the paintings that Eduardo Caragutti did. He gave Paul the purple and Gene the red and Peter the green and Ace the blue. But if you look at this, it's kind of funny because Gene is blue, Paul is yellow, or white with, yellow. Ace is red because he's standing in the red spotlights. Peter's kind of a little bit of a purple color. It's kind of funny that they ended up adopting the colors that they did. But I used to just sit and look at these pictures. I would just sit and just examine every little line and every little nuance of their face. And Gene, I just sit and look at this area, especially right here, just the blood, and everybody, it's chicken blood. You guys remember all the myths. Gene cut the bottom of his tongue to have the long tongue, or the cow's tongue. Gene had a cow's tongue sewed on. They sold their soul to the devil, and they're knights in Satan's service, or kings in Satan's service, and they're so evil. They're just trying to make money and get laid, man. I mean, it's what everybody in the band's trying to do: make money, get laid. But this album was what really, really just made them just project. This was a very anticipated album. And everything. So But the inside of this album is hands down my favorite. Even though it's a composite, I know it's a composite. If you go online, you can find this picture without all these fire stacks going off. And I know they were photoshopped in, and everything. But damn. And I remember having this as a poster when I was a kid. And holy God. I mean, it's just amazing. To me, it's the best stage they ever had. I wish they would have recreated this stage for the current End of the Road tour. I wish they would have recreated and modernized this stage. Yeah, I know the steps, they didn't use them because they were too narrow, and that's why they used the lifts to bring them down. And Ace just about, Paul fell down them one time, and Ace electrocuted himself on them, and thus the song Shock Me and everything. But yeah, they could have modernized this stage and brought this stage back. So let's see. Bethany, are you still with me, or did you go? I see that. Looks like, I don't know. I can't tell if you're still here or not. Let's see. If anybody's got to go, just tell me. Hey, bye, and we'll. But let's see. I want to read some stuff. Brutalist photo of Gene. Yes. Alive 2 was my first album I bought and paid for with my own money. Awesome. My first album I bought and paid for with my own money was a Dynasty. I actually had I went around and I got an allowance for cutting grass, and I used to go around and pick up bottles and turn them in to get a nickel or a quarter or whatever I got, and I bought Dynasty with my own money. And I bought every album after that with my own money. Let's see. Ace's guitar on Rocket Ride. Yes, I do too. Rockin' USA, Rocket Ride, Shock Me. Larger Than Life, awesome too. Okay, Beth, cool, awesome. Good to see that you're still here. Love Tomorrow and Tonight. Better than the... Yes, I agree. Like I said, Kiss was amazing during this time. I'm going to show my albums here just a little bit. There's the front, or there's where it shows the albums. It says gold and platinum. That's a... I don't know if some of those albums didn't go gold and some didn't go platinum. I know they said gold and platinum. This is a Filmworks version of it, so I don't know if it's an original version. I can't remember. I don't know what pressing of this actually is. But I do love that I have the book, I have the tattoos, and I have the merch sheet in here. So we're going to show these off really quick. And let's go ahead and start talking about our favorite songs. Go ahead. I see some people are already chiming them in. Let's keep chiming in those favorite songs. Here's the merch sheet. And man, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that I'm going to go ahead and tell you stuff that's going to make you sick. Okay? I had all 4 of those posters. And they were big. And I had this t-shirt here, the yellow t-shirt with the Live 2 logo on it. I had the book. I had the hat. My mom spoiled me. There's the poster I had, and if you notice, you see it doesn't have all that other all the other fire on it. I had that poster. I had that necklace. I had that belt buckle. I had almost everything on here. And my mom ordered everything off of it for me. So she would have spent $6 on the shirt, $2.50 each on the posters. Now this don't sound like a whole lot of money now, but you gotta remember this is '77. So she would have spent $10 on the posters. Or you get all 4 of the posters for $7. The Live 2 stage shot was $2. The concert book was $3. The tour hat was $5. The necklace was $8.50. The radio was $9.50. And I had it too. And the belt buckle was $5. And I remember she ordered all that shit for me off my original thing. She ordered it all at once. And I remember just it felt like forever for that shit to come in the mail. And I remember we used to go down to a package center where our packages, it was like, it wasn't like a post office. It was like where UPS or whatever it was at the time brought packages to, and you'd get a little notification and you'd get a little slip in your mailbox. And you had to go down there and pick the packages up. They didn't deliver the packages. They took them to this central location. And it was behind a Sears and Roebucks. And I remember every time we went there, you had to go up a hill, cross the railroad tracks, and it wasn't on the best side of town, so my mom didn't like going over there. I remember Mom would walk out, and because she ordered a bunch of stuff like out of the Sears catalog and stuff, and Sears also had their stuff delivered there, so you never knew if she was getting, y'all remember the Sears catalogs and the Christmas catalogs. We all went through and checked and circled what we wanted and folded pages down and everything. Everybody remembers the Sears catalogs. And I remember that the day that all my stuff came from this was like hitting the mother load whenever I got all that stuff, and I don't have it anymore. But I had everything, almost everything on that whole order sheet. But I have the order sheet now, and I have the tattoos, and these are original tattoos. You see, it's 1977. Those are original tattoos. And I've got the book, and my book's in great shape. A lot of people, they've talked about how theirs is bad shape, and the staples rust or the staples come out. A lot of people, I've heard a lot of criticism for people talking about the photos for the evolution of Kiss, that they could have used better photos or whatever. I don't really know, man. I used to sit and study these photos too. Man, I just sit and look at them, especially some of the older photos where they were in like the homemade costumes and stuff like that. And I used to have a poster of that at Ace. I love that shot of Ace. But these photos here, I used to really, and I remember the very first time I saw Paul as a Bandit, and I actually like Paul in the Bandit makeup better than I like him in the Star makeup. Honestly, I like him better in the Bandit makeup. But a lot of people, that's just my preference. Favorite songs off this album for me, Detroit Rock City, of course. Making Love on this album kicks ass. Making Love is amazing. Shock Me is amazing. I Stole Your Love is amazing on this album. God of Thunder's good. I Want You's good. And then as far as like the studio tracks, All American Man kicks ass. Larger Than Life is awesome. And Rocket Ride is amazing. Rocket Ride is probably my favorite Ace Frehley song. I love Rocket Ride. But yeah, this is my favorite Kiss album. If somebody said they were going to stick me on a deserted island and I could only have one album to go with me, it would be this one. It'd be this album here. I couldn't give it up. I'd have to take it with me. So, let me check up on the chat here and see where we're at. And then I got a question I want to ask you guys, since we're kind of running low on time here. Paul and Ace's poster, found him in the late 1980s. Sweet, man. You can find a lot of this stuff online. You just better be ready to, go without food or gas or water or electricity for a little while. Some of these things like the Kiss posters and stuff like that, they're going for like $300-$400. The Kiss notebooks. I watch Rick's It's All For You Demon, and he shows a lot of his memorabilia and stuff that he has. And I go, and after I watch a video, I usually immediately hit eBay or hit some of these other sites and stuff, and I get sick at the price that some of this stuff is now. Most stuff is $100 and up. My dream is to have a Kiss pinball machine, and there's somebody that lives in a town over from me that has a Kiss pinball machine in mint condition, and they want $3,800 for it, firm. $3,800. If I had $3,800, that Kiss pinball machine be sitting right over here, and I'd be turning my camera around, and y'all be live feed watching me playing Kiss pinball. But I don't have $3,800. So let's see. Let's look at some favorite songs. see. Detroit Rock City. I Stole Your Love, Rocket Ride, Bethany, God of Thunder, Rock and Ride from the Studio. Used to stare at pictures for hours. Me too, Tom. Grade School, all the Kiss rumors. Yeah, man, all the Kiss rumors. Have y'all ever heard the Kiss rumors that that the person that's on the first Kiss album that looks like Gene is not Gene that we know now, that Gene died, and that person that Gene died and was replaced? I mean, I know it's not true because you see pictures of Gene in the studio and you know that it's him, but that Gene passed away, and then there was rumors that later on that Paul passed away, and since they had the makeup, they could be replaced. I've even heard people, they talk about how Paul's vocal styling changed from one particular thing to another. I'll have to look that up, and maybe we can have a live chat one night where we talk about all the what do they call them, the urban legends. That'd be really cool. Make money, get laid. What about the integrity of rock and roll? Well, you keep your integrity about rock and roll while you're making money and getting laid. All the above. Let's see. I had the lunchbox in elementary school. I did too. Cheers from Newton. Hey, dude. Eddie Thompson. Awesome. Newton is close to me. I live in the Morganton area, which is in between Asheville and Hickory. For those of you who do not know, in western North Carolina, I live in the Morganton area. So Newton, that's cool. You're not far from me. See, there'll be a new YouTube subscriber play button for 1 million subscribers. Okay, I might have to get back. I had the Kiss notebooks for school. Rocket Ride. Let's see. Ace's solo and Rocket Ride's awesome. Yep. Firehouse, a live version. You couldn't get that shirt at all for now. Let's see. Bethany Dawn, I like people. Favorite YouTube channel. Hit him at 100 million. Don Russ bubblegum kits. Yes. Let's talk about that. I'm gonna talk about what I did have, and then I want to ask you guys a question, let you guys make the decision, because I got all night, but I don't know how much time you guys have, how long you want to hang out. That's up to you. I can talk forever. I may have to go get me another drink, but I had the Don Russ. I used to have a box, and I had both kits. I had the first set and the second set. I had the Kiss radio. I had the Kiss trash can. I had the notebooks. I had the puzzles. I had the what do you call it? The little sticker kit. Color forms. I had the color forms kit. I had the Kiss Your Face makeup. I had the Ace Frehley and the Peter Criss Halloween costumes. The one with the plastic faces and the horrible hair and the rubber band and the vinyl little thing. I had the wall. I had almost every poster you could think about. I had almost every magazine you could think about. I had all the albums, most originals at one point in time. I had the Kiss jacket. If you can name it, I had it. And like I said, it makes me sick to my stomach that I don't have it now, because it all got stolen. I was in the middle of moving, and I put my stuff in storage, and it had to be an inside job, because about a week after moving in, I got a call from the storage facility, and my 10x10 had been broken into, the lock had been cut off, and there was stuff moved aside to get to the storage bins that had my Kiss stuff in it, and my Kiss stuff was taken. So it had to be an inside job. There was nothing else taken. There was a TV setting there. There was a stereo setting there. But every bit of my Kiss stuff and all my Kiss albums and stuff like that, I had them all together in like 6 or 7 bins, big bins, and they all got gone. And it sucks. It makes me sick to this day to even think about it. So, question that I have is, since we're talking about 70s Kiss technically goes all the way up to Dynasty. So does anybody feel like going up to Dynasty? Because that would only really mean double platinum solo albums and then Dynasty. So Rock and Roll Over, Colors Number poster with the felts. I don't know if I had that. I don't know if I had anything like that. But I remember I had the color forms, I had the posters, I had the, like I said, I had all the Viewmaster, Kiss Viewmaster, I had that. That was more of a Dynasty era type thing, but I did have that. Good Night. My first Kiss album was Creatures of the Night. Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, if any of you need to leave, you can say goodbye, and I'd like for you to say bye. But if we haven't talked about your first Kiss album, go ahead and chime in. If you have not, if any of these albums, if your first Kiss album is outside of past Dynasty, chime in and let me know what it is. I want to know. And I'll give you a second to do that while I check some stuff here. Animalize. Awesome. And let's see. Creatures of the Night. Badass album. Animalize has got some good tracks, but it's got a lot of bad tracks too. I like the Animalize concert. The Animalize, what was the Live Uncensored or whatever. I liked that. First Kiss 45 was back in the New York groove. That's awesome. All right, so I'm going to keep on going. Like I said, I've got a little bit of time left. I'm going to keep on going because this is pretty cool. And we still got like 23 people. So as long as there's people kind of watching and want to hang out, we can go. And then I can take some questions. And keep my eye on the chat. And then I can take some questions if anybody has any. But yeah, so the next album, and it seemed like it took forever for it to come out, but whose first album was double platinum? Now I know Ralph Vieira, his first album was double platinum. He did if you have not seen it, I've got a video where I worked with some other YouTube content creators, and we talked about our first albums. And Ralph's was Ralph Vieira, Dr. Fuck from Almost Human 56. His first one was double platinum. And he shared some of my same sentiment when it come to double platinum. With double platinum, they actually re-recorded Strutter in 78, and they remixed a lot of the songs, but this is the front of double platinum, and it's in this Mylar form. I mean, Kiss, their packaging just kicked ass. I mean, it was just bad. And Ralph said the same thing that I used to do. I'd put a piece of paper over this and lay a crayon down over it and kind of do one of them. I think he said he traced. But what I'd do is I'd lay a crayon down and I'd do it like a rub and rub over it and everything and try to see what they look like without their makeup. And of course you can't tell. But so this is my double platinum. And I've got the... it's got the merch sheet in it where they're basically just selling, it looks like on the merch sheet, they're selling leftover Kiss Alive 2 stuff. Because if you open up the merch sheet, you actually see the Kiss Alive 2, and those were the foil posters, and I had those foil posters. They were printed on like foil, and oh my God, are those things expensive now? Original posters and stuff like that are very expensive. And I had this poster down here too. I had this poster right here. And let's see what those prices would have been. The Mylar posters were $4 each. You could get all four of them for $12. And the Kiss, where's the Not that's not a black. Let's see. Super concert book, double platinum picture set, double platinum belt buckle, double belt buckle, group shot $4. So the posters were $4 and the group shot were $4, and those were on the Mylar, and those were badass. And I got the certification, the double platinum certification thing that came in with the album and everything. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Double platinum's awesome. Oh yeah, the Corvette behind me. Yeah, that's just a yellow Corvette. It's the model of Corvette that I hope to have someday. Taught myself to play drum, watching, analyzing, censored. That's awesome. Eric Carr was an amazing drummer. Double platinum on 8-track. Don't forget to spring ahead an hour tonight. I know that sucks losing, but we get that hour back in the evening. We get that hour of daylight back in the evening, and I love that. I hate going to work dark and coming home dark. Sean Delaney wasn't charged. Those should have been songs on Kiss Alive 2. Sean Delaney was in charge of remix. Who did I say? Did I say somebody else? Yeah, and they did it in Europe, I think. If you watch my preview, I talk about all this. What's my least favorite Kiss albums? Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to get to that question in just a little bit. But I can go ahead and answer that question. According to where I'm at now, I've not reviewed all the Kiss albums yet. I still have Millennial Concert, Symphony. Help me out if I miss any, guys. Millennial Concert, Symphony, Sonic Boom, Monster, and Kiss Rocks Vegas to go. I still have those albums to go, like 5 albums, but as of right now, by my scoring system, by my review scoring system, my least favorite Kiss album is Crazy Nights. Not a big fan of Crazy Nights at all. There's some good songs on it, but I'm not a fan of it. And so there's what the album looks like. It's got the silver printed on it and everything. It's real cool. So, is there any song that you guys like off of Double Platinum that you like it better than any other version? So I've heard some people say that they love the Strutter 78 version, and I've heard some people say they like what they did with Calling Dr. Love. I've heard some people say they like what they did with that. But me, I'm not really a big fan of any of the, I don't like or dislike what they did on Double Platinum. I don't like that they messed with some of them. Some of them, like they put the intro to Rock Bottom at the beginning of She, and I really didn't like that. I know that some people do. I think Ralph might have liked that. Yeah, Eric likes Strutter 78. I hear a lot of that a lot of people like Strutter 78. I hear a lot of that. And it's kind of disco-ish to me. I'm not saying that's bad, but it does have that little dun dun dun, that disco tempo and that 4 on the floor beat to it with the double time on the hi-hat. I think that's what does it for me. Is what makes it sound that way. I haven't listened to Double Platinum since the 70s. Bethany, when I did my review, I don't know if I pointed it out or not. When I did my review, I actually said I don't remember the last time I listened to Double Platinum. So we're going to go on to the solo albums. And we're going to go through the solo albums, and that's the only version of Double Platinum I've got. Okay, so let's go ahead and have this debate. And I know I see people are still throwing up their Smashes and Thrashes. They're still throwing up albums. let's go ahead and have this debate. I want to know who you think is the best solo album and who you think is the worst solo album. Or you can rate them if you want to. You can rate them in the order you like them. Okay? And I'm going to do my solo albums rated from, I'm going to pull them up, rated from my least favorite to my favorite. All right? You ready for this? All right. Okay. All right, so my least favorite album, solo album, and I'll show you the copies that I have of it. Just trying to get them in order here. My least favorite solo album and the copies that I have of it is Peter Criss. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a bunch of songs on Peter's albums that I like, but man, he's got some bad ones too. At least ones that don't strike me. But I'm Gonna Love You. I think that's a great song. Easy Thing is an amazing song. I love Easy Thing. I Can't Stop the Rain is an amazing song. I have told people that this album scored lowest for me on my scores of all 4 solo albums, but I would buy this album and have bought this album just to have Easy Thing and I Can't Stop the Rain. I love those 2 songs off this album, and I like I'm Gonna Love You too. I think I'm Gonna Love You could have been and there's some like Tossing and Turning. A lot of people, they get there, he's got those singers do 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 do, in it. Tossing and Turning, I think it's a good song, but it's a cover song, but it's good. So here's my 2 versions I have. I have the Lilith picture disc. This is the only one I have. I'm eventually going to have all 4 of these, and I'm going to frame them. But I have the Lilith picture disc, and I have, thanks to my buddy Paul, recently I have the 1978, and I have the merch form in there and the poster. And for those of you who've never seen the inside of the poster and everything, or the merch form, I'll show you. The merch form is basically just you can buy anything Peter, and I had that poster. I had all 4. I had that poster, and I had this poster, and I had this belt buckle, and I think I had all. No, I didn't have the belt buckle, not Peter's, and I had the shirt that had all 4 of them on it. I didn't have the keychain or anything like that. And Peter's is the only one that had this sheet in here. And Rick from McSalfrey U Demon was asking about this sheet. And I think this sheet is basically a contractual thing because Sean Delaney was originally supposed to produce Peter's albums, and he helped Peter do a lot of demo work. And Peter was in bad shape at this time. He was strung out on coke. He'd been in an accident. He was in an accident at some point in time. He was real upset, and the solo albums was made for him and Ace because they were starting to talk about leaving the band because Paul and Gene had basically taken over at this point and was like control freaks. So Sean was originally supposed to do Peter's album and ended up jumping ship and doing Gene's album and left Peter behind to work with Vinnie Poncha. So this, I think, is basically all because some people go, oh, it's a printing thing because they printed the album cover before they printed the credits and stuff like that. But everybody else's album has their credits on it. To me, I think this sheet was a credit thing, and it was a contractual thing because of Sean Delaney writing so many songs and contributing so much to the album. And here's the poster that's in there. And you could put these together. Peter's would have been, it's got the little themes where you lined it up with the other posters. So Peter's, I remember just staring at these things too, man. And I may eventually try to find these posters outside of an album and put them all together in like a custom built frame. That would be really cool to have. I've got a big wall space that I can cover with some posters. And of course, if you've never seen the album, I'll go ahead and show you on this one that the album cover, the dust sleeve, had all 4 solo albums on it, and then all the albums had the band members' picture on the label. So that's Peter's, and that's my least favorite album or solo album, but I still like some songs off of it. And the next least favorite coming in is, and you guys probably already know, let me check some things here. Oh yeah, I really appreciate seeing all these interacting, and you guys interacting with each other. That's cool. Rip It Out, Snowblind, Ozone, talking about favorite songs. Ace, Gene, Paul, Peter. Ace, Gene, Paul, Peter. Ace, Paul, Gene, Peter. Ace, Peter, Paul, Gene. Yeah, it's funny. Aces is usually always the favorites of most people. Is there somebody, that Aces is not your favorite? Like somebody else's is your favorite? Like your favorite other than Ace? But my third favorite is the Gene Simmons solo album. And it's not because it doesn't have its fair share of good songs on it. It's just because it's all over the place, man. But I do admire that Gene was true to himself, and Gene made the album he wanted to make. All 4 of them did. All 4 of them made the albums that they wanted to make, and they did it. But Radioactive, I love from Gene. Probably my favorite song on the album. Burning Up with Fever is good. See You Tonight's good. It's kind of soft for Gene. Living in Sin is good. I actually like Man of a Thousand Faces and Mr. Make Believe. I mean, those are not typical Demon songs. And that's where he lost a lot of his fans, because he didn't do what his fans expected him to do. That's why he lost a lot of people who was like, what the fuck is this? Where's God of Thunder? Where's these songs at? But here's the merch sheet for Gene's. Like I said, I had these posters. I had the shirt that had all 4 of them on it, and I had Gene's poster. And I had the poster with all 4 of them on it. Don't have. And here's Gene's poster for the album. So Gene would have still been in the middle somewhere. It looks like Peter was over here on this side. That looks like coming off of Peter's there, maybe. But yeah, Gene's, man, it's got that blood. I remember just loving Gene's. That blood there and spitting the fire. Yeah, it's just awesome. Awesome poster. And the album looks the same. It's got Gene's picture on it, and the dust sleeve looks the same. It's got all 4 albums on it, so it looks the same as the others. My next, is anybody lining up with me so far? I think one of you did. My next favorite solo album, and it is a very close second to the first. And sometimes these two flip back and forth just depending on what mood I'm in. But overall, my second favorite solo album, but it's right there with one, is the Paul Stanley solo album. I love the Paul Stanley solo album. I have 3 versions of the Paul Stanley solo album. I have a Back to Black German issue that has doesn't have the lightning bolt S's because of it looks a lot like the swastika, so it doesn't have that. That's still sealed. I have the 2014 reissue that's still sealed, and I have the original that I found in a record store in my last record shopping video. I found it, and it's not in the best shape. It's got some wrinkle down here. You can't really there. You can see it. It's got some wrinkling there, but it's got the deep. It's not got what people call the V-neck. It's got the V-neck on it, and so I was happy to see that. But Paul's album, man, I mean, Tonight You Belong to Me, love it. Move On, Ain't Quite Right. A lot of people don't like Ain't Quite Right, but I do. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? Phenomenal song. Take Me Away Together As One is my favorite song on this album. It's epic. It's a production, and damn, Paul did a good job on this album. He experienced. Everybody gives Ace a good time about how he did on his album with guitars, but Paul, he layered guitars. He used the EBow, and an EBow can only play one string at a time. So if you're making a chord with an EBow, and it's a 3-chord, like a 3-note chord or a 4-note chord, you're having to layer that track 4 times or 3 times or however many times. That's a lot of care. And Paul actually started off producing the album with Jeff Glicksman, and then eventually ended up finishing the album himself, because him and Jeff Glicksman, who produced Kansas, but Jeff Glicksman did help do Take Me Away Together As One. And I think it's funny that the beginning of that, when it starts, that rhythm, that acoustic guitar, it almost sounds like a Kansas song. It really comes along sounding that way. But Take Me Away Together As One is good. It's Alright is an amazing song. Hold Me, Touch Me, Think of Me When We're Apart, I hate it. I hate that song. Gene hated it. I love that story that Gene played it, and when Ace played it, the first time Ace heard it, he was like, what the fuck? And, Love in Chains is okay, and Goodbye is okay. I feel like Paul's album kind of peters out. It's like he blows his load after It's Alright, and then Hold Me, Touch Me, Love in Chains, and Goodbye they're okay. Actually, out of the last 3 songs, I probably like Goodbye the best. I love that Goodbye Is Only For Now, but I'm coming back. I swear it somehow. And that's a good thing, good. And when you say goodbye, it's only for now. I choose to say, I don't like to say goodbye to people. It sounds too final. I usually say see you later, because that's a promise. Goodbye is kind of like a goodbye, we're done with the conversation. But I'll see you later. That's like a promise. That's like saying to my friend or whatever, I would say, I'll see you later. That means I want to see you again. There's not many people I want to see again. So it'd be like, I want to see you again, so see you later. I like saying that. But, let me look on here. Let me catch up on the comments a second. Let's see. Tonight You Belong to Me should have been the first single. Yes. Tonight You Belong to Me or It's Alright should have been the first single. Hold Me, Touch Me as your first single. Nah. That song is huge, Steve. If you're talking about Take Me Away Together As One, it's got so much dynamics to it. It's one of those songs that gives me chills just thinking about it. Tonight You Belong to Me, Move On, Goodbye, all could have been Kiss songs. Yep. I agree totally. All right, so let me show my poster here real quick in the merch form. Here's the merch form for it. Once again, I had the poster. I had the shirt. And then here's Paul's poster. I remember just looking at that and looking at his rose tattoo. Really cool posters. I mean, Kiss, they did such cool things that bands just didn't do. Still don't do. Never did. Some bands never did. And of course, by process of elimination and omission, that only leaves one album to be my favorite solo album, and that is Ace Frehley's 1978 solo album. What can I not say about this solo album that I've not said before is Ace's album is just killer. I mean, him and Eddie Kramer, they housed themselves up in the Colgate Mansion in Sharon, Connecticut. They set Anton Figg's drums up on the riser of the second floor or the halfway floor landing of the main steps. They put mics all over the stairwells. They recorded his drums. Aces, they put his amps in all kinds of different rooms. A lot of the reverb and stuff that you hear is not produced with a piece of equipment. It's all natural. They used in rooms with one they had the amp firing into the fireplace. The other one they had amps in rooms with hardwood floors, some rooms with carpets, some rooms with tapestries. And the cool thing was they could basically just perform. They lived there too while they were recording. And so that's where they did the bulk of the recording, and then they did the rest of the recording above Radio City Music Hall. And you hear the stories about the Rockettes used to come up and hang out with Ace whenever they were on their break. And just a lot of really cool things that used to go on during that era. But this album right here, and this man, he kicked ass. He made an album that Paul and Gene were both like, hey, Ace, do you need help? You're such a fuck up, when you're drunk all the time. Do you need help making an album? And Ace is like, Curly, I'm gonna kick y'all's ass. And so, and he did, man. And so I'm going to talk about this album a little bit. Now, I'm going to say, I know a lot of people say his album's all killer. I won't say his album's all killer to me. If you think it is, that's fine. But it's not quite all killer to me. And I'm going to talk about the songs I like and songs that I don't really like. Rip It Out, great. It's a great song. It kicks ass. Rip It Out is amazing. Speeding Back to My Baby. That riff, that and then that rockabilly, that Steven didn't like it when we reviewed it because he didn't like that rockabilly swinging back and forward. He didn't really care for it. But I love Speeding Back to My Baby. Snowblind, just that and that drum's just a pop at the very beginning of it, and you listen to that reverb that you hear. That's natural reverb on that snare. Go listen to it. That's recorded from inside the halls and the stairwells. They put microphones 20 feet down the halls and down the stairwells, and they had mics right up on front of it. That's all natural reverb from the inside of a mansion. Ozone, Snowblind is amazing. Ozone, that da-da-da-da, you hear that of the way he layers in that acoustic guitar. Da-da-da-da-da, and it's like it just goes on that blues that I'm drunk playing this. It's just awesome. Ozone's amazing. What's on Your Mind? Approaches, filler. But it's still good. But it approaches filler. New York Groove. Now, don't hang me for this, but I'm not the biggest fan of New York Groove, and I understand it's one of those songs. It was a hit. It was the only hit from all the solo albums, and it was Ace's. So that's even more of a thumbs up for me that it was the only hit from the solo albums, and it was Ace's. So it's like, stick this up Gene and Paul's ass. So I appreciate it for what it was and for what it is. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. So having said that, let's move on. I'm in need of love. I'm in need of love. And I love the freaking solo on that when it goes into that and the drums pick up and they're doing the double time and he goes into that solo and all it is just him doing the solo and you hear the bass running under it and everything. That's just amazing. You have to remember that Ace played almost every guitar on this album. He did have Will Lee helping him out from on the bass, who also played in David Letterman's band along with Anton Fig. But a lot of times this was just Ace and Anton Fig and with Will Lee helping some too. But I'm in Need of Love's good. Wiped Out is amazing. I love Wiped Out. And Fractured Mirror. I mean, come on. It's Fractured fucking Mirror. I mean, it's one of the... I'm not an instrumental person, but it's Fractured fucking Mirror. I mean, it's one of the best instrumental songs of all time. So yeah. So I'm gonna show you the poster and the merch sheet, and then I'm gonna catch up on the chat, and then we'll do Dynasty. And that'll be the end of 79 era Kiss. So we got the merch sheet here, right here, with the stuff that you can get off of it. And then Ace's poster. And I remember I used to love Ace's poster. Because of, got the guitar here that's got the wires coming out of it and got all the damn stars at the bottom of it. You know, it's just amazing. I used to love Ace's. Got the planet up there. And I just thought it was really, really, really cool. And of course, I like how you can see a hint on each poster of, you know, like you know, there's a rose like being thrown right here, and that leads over into what would have been Paul's poster. So you know, you had a little hint of whose poster was on the other side, and of course they had those cuts in it, so it had to be put together a certain way. So that's the only copy I've got of that too. So that's all my solo albums. I'm going to leave them on the floor. I'll clean them up after we're done. And so we're going to get to, let me check the text really quick. Ace All Killer No Filler. Anton Fig on drums. Like I said, Anton's a beast. Snowblind. Fractured Mirror. Has Ace in his deck. Fractured Mirror almost makes me cry. New York Groove is my least favorite on Ace's record. Fractured Mirror is one of Ace's best. I have 5 CDs in my car. Ace is one of them, never leaves my car. Hold Me, Touch Me would have crushed Beth if it had gotten radio airplay. Yes, but Beth's girl name crossed it over. An Anomaly is better than Monster and Sonic Boom in my opinion. Snowblind was one of the few Kiss songs that freaked the shit out of me. I was carving a gargoyle head out of a potato. That's, let's see, Rosanna. Eddie Thompson, I'm sending you something cool. I think you'll blow your mind from Newton. Okay. You're Not Alone, New York Groove ain't my bad either. Have you seen Kiss live and any of the members of the Kiss solo? I have seen Kiss live several times, and I've seen Ace solo. I saw Ace solo whenever he was on his way back when he was coming out with Fraley's Comet, and White Lion opened for him in a club in Charlotte, and that was a crazy night. White Lion was supporting their new album, the album that had like Wait and all that stuff on it, When the Children Cry. I must be an old man, but I've never thought Ace could sing that well at all, and I really liked his cover of New York Groove. Just me, I guess. Yeah, it's funny because even when Ace went to go record his first song, he started off laying on the floor, and whenever he started working on his solo album, and I've actually seen pictures of it. He's laying on the floor and he's got the guitar, and they moved the mic down like right in front of his face while he's laying on the floor. And he started off the album that way, and by the time he was done, because the only thing he had done was Shock Me, and even though he sang it live, now he was back in the studio, and he had a lot of pressure because, like I said, everybody thought Ace was a fuck up. And so he had a lot of pressure, and so he started off on the floor, but by the end of it, he was up and he had gained his confidence. And then, man, you know, you saw what he went on to do. I mean, he went on to put how many songs on Dynasty and how many songs on Unmasked. I mean, you know, he was putting 3 and 4 songs on these albums. And so, you know, having said that, it's my segue into Dynasty. How'd y'all like that? So I'm going to pull up my stuff here that I've got that's Dynasty related. Since it looks like I'm at the end of the comments here. We're still holding strong at 25. Oh, look, somebody's jumping ahead of me. So, was the solo albums your first Kiss album? Did anybody like the first Kiss album was a solo album? I know my sister, my half-sister, who didn't live with us, her first Kiss albums were the solo albums. Whose first Kiss album was Dynasty? Anybody's? Go ahead and chime in your excuse me. Go ahead and chime in your favorite songs off of Dynasty. Now, me personally, these are my 2 versions of Dynasty. I have the 180 gram that's still sealed from 2014. I have that. And I have an original version with my friend Paul, my viewer friend Paul sent me this and it's Hard Times, side B, and side A of I Was Made for Loving You on the 45. And then I've had my Dynasty. And I don't think my Dynasty has a poster. I may be wrong. This is one of the most iconic covers. Other than Kiss Alive 2, I think this is one of my favorite covers because they're so damn up in your face. And this isn't a painting. This is real picture. I mean, you can see their pores and stuff if you look close enough. And Gene, looking like a gorilla, just got something stuck up his butt. Paul just had this pissed off look on his face. I know that Dynasty was a tough album for him because Peter was just off the rails and Ace was probably being difficult because he's like, I can sing songs and write songs too, Curly. But Peter was I think Peter was their biggest problem. Peter was just off the rails at this point in time. This was the last it wasn't really truly a Kiss album because the only song that Peter sung and performed on, played drums on, was Dirty Livin', which is a good song. But it was Anton Fig on the rest of the album playing drums. So the only real Kiss song on this album is of the full band is Dirty Livin'. But yeah, and here's the back. And it used to drive me crazy that their album titles would not, the track list would not be what the running list on the album was. But let's see here. Charisma, I love Charisma. Great song. Dirty Livin', I love it. Hard Times, great song. I love it. I Was Made for Loving You, I like, but it's very long in the tooth. And I hate hearing it live. It's one of the Kiss songs I'm like, and they still play this song live. I don't know are they playing I Was Made for Loving You on the new tour? I can't remember. Somebody tell me. But if they are, they need to stop. I hate I Was Made for Loving You live. Magic Touch is amazing. Paul Stanley Construction, man. Save Your Love. Save Your Love is amazing. Sure Know Something is amazing. X-Ray Eyes, I don't really care for X-Ray Eyes. 2000 Man, my hands down my favorite song on this album. 2000 Man, even though it's a cover. Ace took a psychedelic, hippie-ish Rolling Stones song and turned it into a kick you in your balls, punch you in your boob, and smack you in the face rocking song. And I love 2000 Man. It's my favorite song on the album. But there are so many. Yes, Paul did play the bass line for Sure Know Something, if I'm not mistaken. If you go back and watch my reviews, I tell who played what on what, who wrote what. If a Kiss member swapped instruments, like if Gene played, if Paul played bass or if Ace played bass, I talk about it in my reviews for all my albums. Little plug, if you haven't seen them, go back and watch them. But yeah, I mean, everybody calls this the disco album. The only fucking disco sounding song on this album to me is I Was Made for Loving You. You take I Was Made for Loving You off of here, this album's a rocker. It kicks ass. Like I said, Charisma's great. Dirty Living's great. Dirty Living has that kind of dun 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 dun. It has that, but it's not really quite disco. Magic Touch is amazing. Like I said, Save Your Love. Ace kicks butt on this. Hard Times. Ace kicks butt on this album. Ace's songs on this album are some of the best songs on this album. And I don't have the poster. I was right. I don't have the poster. If somebody's got a Dynasty poster they want to send me. But anyway, I don't have the Dynasty poster, and I do have the album. And I like that they put the band on here. And what I thought was funny is if you look at this basically mimics the poster. And they originally, if you go on the internet, you can find these pictures now, but they were in asylum, they were in like straight jackets. And this album, I believe, was originally supposed to be called Out of the Asylum. And they ended up having an album called Asylum. But they were going to call it Out of the Asylum, and they originally, I think it was Howard Marks, suggested calling it Dynasty, because at Kiss, or as the Australians say, Dynasty, because they had at this point in time built a dynasty, and that is the truth. But this is also when they changed costumes. They had the costumes from Alive 2 to the solo albums. In the Kiss Meets the Phantom and all the pictures you saw, they'd had them since Alive 2. So the costumes were epic, iconic, but really long in the tooth. So they changed the name instead of saying Out of the Asylum, because Kiss had a lot of kid fans by now. There was as many kids coming to the shows as there was adults. And so they changed the name from Out of the Asylum to Dynasty. And they took them out of they airbrushed the straight jackets and made them black. And then they promoted this big whole thing. What's the new costumes going to look like? What's the new costumes going to look like? And if you've ever seen the pictures of the costumes, it was the pictures that was in the posters and stuff like that were not the same costumes that they wore on stage. They had a bunch, even Ace's and stuff. Ace had a cape, and even his V and stuff was bigger, and his armbands was bigger. It was just stuff that he couldn't play with. Peter's, my God, he had freaking green lines hanging off of his shoulders, and Gene had all this stuff, and Paul had all these tassels and all this stuff hanging from him, and it was just too much. But the costumes were just amazing. They were awesome. But that's why they did what they did, is because they felt it was a little too maybe out there for the younger fans. And I also have, it's not the album, but I also have a German import. You can see because it says Kiss. It's got the S's, and this is a 45 maxi long single of I Was Made for Loving You and Hard Times. This is an import, and it's basically just a maxi single of those two songs. Uh, and so, like I said, that's a German import. And so that basically takes us through 75 Kiss. The next album after that is Unmasked. And, Peter had already left the band by then, even though he was credited on the album and in the video Shandy. He got fired at the end. He had already been fired, and he basically contractually made Shandy and contractually appeared in promotional material, interviews, magazines, and stuff like that. But a lot of that was after he had already been fired from the band. So having said all that, that's really all I've got. But let's go ahead before we cut out of here. Let me read some things here. And then if anybody wants to ask questions, now is your time. Go ahead and start popping them in down there at the bottom. And there's 25 people watching at this point in time. If you want to ask a question, now's your opportunity. If you asked it earlier and I didn't answer it, and I didn't see it, if I didn't answer it, go ahead and pop it in. A few blue Kool-Aid drinkers. I love Ace's solo, but like I said, I only sip the Kool-Aid. I don't gulp it. I don't really gulp any of their Kool-Aid. I'm critical of all of them at some point in time. Sure Knows Something. Yes, I love his vocals and guitar. Hard Times, Dirty Living, Charisma, 2000 Man Rocks. Ace is going to be playing 10 Minutes from my house this summer. Man, Bethany, I hate to hear that. I hate to hear you might not want to. Kiss is playing like an hour and a half away from me in Charlotte in August, and I'm still on the fence about buying tickets. My wife was telling me the other day, just go ahead and buy tickets. Happy birthday. But I think I'm just going to wait a little closer, and I'm going to take my son Steven with me. He's never seen Kiss. So I may go just to take my son Steven because he's never seen Kiss. And even though it's not Kiss, it's Kiss. And he recognizes that. He knows that. Let's see. Dirty Living, 2000 Man. Sure Knows Something, Save Your Love. Give the Stones some credit. Yeah, 2000. Yeah, Joe K. I like the Stones version. I do. I like the Stones version. I just think Ace rocked it out. Hard Times, 2000 Man, Save Your Love. Ace played all three in Seattle. I'd love to see Ace. I watch a lot of his videos and stuff. Hard Times, Dynasty for me is the most underrated album. I like all the songs on Dynasty. Sure Knows Something, Dynasty is very good. Took me years to get used to Dirty Living. Charisma went to #1 in Mexico. That's cool, Steve. Kiss are playing I Was Made for Loving You on the End of the Road tour. Yeah, see, and I don't like how Paul sings it. Paul will never be able to sing it the way he sings it on the album. I don't like when he does that. Tonight, I want to give it all to you. And I'm just like, you just stop. Replace it with something. But I know people love it, but it makes my skin crawl to hear him sing it live. It always has, not just on the end of the road tour, even all the way back in the day. I've never liked it live. I like the bass line on Sure Knows Something. Kiss, like Peter's Earring. Charisma's awesome. I have Dynasty poster taped in my room. That's cool. Kiss on the Tom Snyder Show. I'm a plumber. Actually, I'm a plumber. I mean, and Gene's just sitting there cutting eyes at him like he's like, you fucker. I just love and then Paul's just kind of looking around. He's kind of got that nervous smile, like mommy and daddy are fighting. I mean, Ace got hell after that because Ace was drunk. Peter looked like he had been high for 3 or 4 days, and Ace was flying, but. Tom Snyder wasn't exactly calming them down either. He was kind of egging it on. But yeah, that's great. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I like to watch that Tom Snyder. It cracks me up. Dynasty Tour was my first tour at 11. It was my first tour, Eric, at 10. That was my first tour. Ace and the Space Bear. Yep. They looked like they were going to be in Vegas, show with those costumes. Yep. Stones are my #2 band ever. Ace and Smoking Guitar. That's all. That's awesome, Steve. Dirty Living sounds way more way more disco than I Was Made for Loving You. Cool stuff. Great stream. Thanks, Johnny. I really appreciate that. Why do you think Ace getting Instagram in 2018? I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. Would there be a Kiss if they didn't have the... Oh, so these are questions. Maybe these are questions. Would there be a Kiss if they didn't have the Fun Brothers, Ace and Pete? Would it be just the same like any other band at the time? I don't think Kiss would be... They wouldn't be the Kiss that they were to build on to become the Kiss that they are now, which I don't think. I think it's a shadow of what they used to be. I hate to say this, but the way Kiss is being right now, I think they're more of a cover band. They're more of a tribute band than they are of anything, because they're only 50% of the original members of what most of the songs that they're playing. That's just my opinion. Are you getting the Kiss Stereo exclusives on vinyl? Yes, if I can afford them. I'm actually in the process of purchasing one of the Kiss Stereo exclusives, which is the Kiss Millennium. I think it's going to cost me like $80 or $40 or something like that. I'm getting it from Amazon. But I see the other Kiss exclusives that are like $300 and $400, and I'm just not sure. And that was from Steve. A Doggy Lover, Dynasty Unmasked costumes are my favorite. They were. The Love Gun costumes are my favorite. Alive 2, the ones they had through there. I live near Shelby. Chucky. Cool. I'm originally from Gastonia. So if you're in Shelby, you know where Gastonia is. Steve Anderson, I bought double platinum Greatest Kiss and Killers. Wow. Tom, the original 4 had chemistry, can't be duplicated. The original band was more energy, perfection. They were hungry. I totally agree. Destroyer costumes are the best. They look like superheroes. I rather hear Paul sing I was made than I still love you. Yes, Bethany. I like I still love you until Paul starts doing his vocal gymnastics. The I can't take it. I'd rather hear neither one of them live. But if I had to take a pick, I'd take I Was Made for Loving You live over I Still Love You. But I freaking love I Still Love You on Creatures of the Night. It's one of the best love songs, probably the best love song that Kiss ever made was I Still Love You on Creatures of the Night. Joe K, thanks, man. Time for bed. Okay, Joe, if you're still here, good night, man. I appreciate it. Easily the worst bunch of costumes ever for the original band. I don't know which ones you're talking about. What is my favorite non-makeup Kiss album? I think I talked about that earlier, and you're probably not gonna like it. But up to this point, my favorite non-makeup Kiss album has been this one right here. And it's very closely followed by Revenge, which I have back here in CD form somewhere, right there. But yeah, Revenge and Carnival of Souls are my two favorite non-makeup Kiss albums. I don't have the strength to start another decade. What do you think the fan reaction would be if Bruce was wearing Ace's makeup? It'd be the same. Honestly, it'd be the same. I don't think Bruce would get a pass on that. Even though there are a lot of fans out there like me who love Bruce, even to this day in his band. I think he's playing for, I can't remember the name, but he's playing for some band now, and he plays for his own band, and he fills in maybe Grand Funk Railroad. I think that's who it is, Grand Funk Railroad. I love Bruce. I follow him on his website. I follow him on Instagram. He's amazing. But I don't think he'd get a pass either. If they tried to, well, one, I don't think Bruce would have done it. But two, that's why I think it was Tommy Thayer rather than, because Tommy Thayer used to paint freaking Gene's house and clean out Paul's gutters or whatever. He was their yes man. He was their personal assistant. He was their curator for the Kiss collection and stuff. He's a yes man. He's going to do whatever they tell him to do. That's just who he is. I don't think Bruce would have done it, and even if Bruce did do it, I don't think he'd have got a pass. I wouldn't have liked it. I would have still liked Bruce, but I would have not liked him in the makeup. I'd have lost a lot of respect for him. Let's see. I prefer 77 costumes on stage, but 75 material. Do you like the Lick It Up album? I love the Lick It Up album. Lick It Up. Let me pull it out real quick. I got it right here. I actually love The Elder. A lot of people don't like The Elder. I love The Elder. Lick It Up. Let me pull it out right here. I'll tell you what I do like off of Lick It Up. Exciter. Not the biggest fan. Not for the Innocent. Hell yeah. Lick It Up. It's a bit overplayed. Young and Wasted. Hell yes. Young and Wasted is amazing. Give Me More. Yes. All Hell's Breaking Loose. Yes. 1,000,000 to 1. Hell yes. It is probably rivals I Still Love You as the best Kiss love song ever made. I love the verses of 1,000,000 to 1. I just don't really like the chorus so much. Fits Like a Glove is my favorite song on this damn album. I love Fits Like a Glove. Dance All Over Your Face, is okay. And On the Eighth Day, is okay. But that's my quick. I have actually a full review of Lick It Up. I've already done Lick It Up. I've got a full review of it. If you want to watch it, it's on my channel. You can just look it up. What songs do you wish Kiss would play live? Wow. There's a lot of songs I wish they would play live, but I can't really think right off the top of my head what they should play. I mean, they play War Machine. I love that they play War Machine. I would like to see some of the songs off of. I don't think Rock and Roll Over gets any love. I think they just recently added Calling Dr. Love. But hell, if you're gonna pull out Calling Dr. Love, a song that not really most casual Kiss fans know, why don't you pull out Mr. Speed? It just makes sense to me. I don't know. That's a hard question. Maybe I'll make a question. Why don't I tell you what, I'm going to make a question and answer video for you on that one, okay? Let me look at it. Let me research. But be looking for a question and answer video coming up. And so I'll basically be sure to say Steve Anderson asked for that. Let's see. Anybody appreciate seeing Kiss at footage filmed on 8mm? Yes, I do. I love seeing the old Kiss stuff. And it still amazes me when you hear soundboard recordings emerge that have been, that's like from the 70s that's not been around, and then here they come. Jack Black, who is a huge Kiss fan, has a YouTube channel called Jabinski Games. His son is holding him hostage. Okay. Tommy was their gopher. Yep, I believe Bruce said he wouldn't have wore the makeup. I think so too. My buddy Scott Peterson. I don't know if any of you guys were here at the very beginning of the stream, but that's a guy that I'm actually in a band with off and on. It's called Lydia's Bridge. And at the very beginning of the stream, if you were here, there was a few of you, maybe 9 or 10. There was a song playing during the countdown, during the 5-minute countdown. It was kind of an upbeat rocker, and that song is actually called Severed Rain. That is from my band, Lydia's Bridge. That's me playing drums on that. And the guy there, Scott Peterson, is the guy who was playing the guitar. He did the guitar solo, and he's the guy singing, that sang that song, did all the screaming and everything in it. So that is our band, Lydia's Bridge. Also, if you watch my videos at the very end, you hear some acoustic guitar whenever it's showing my videos at the very end, and I'm talking about what videos you can watch. You hear some little acoustic guitar playing under it. That's a song called Looking for Satisfaction. If you look at the Kiss video where I went around and toured the Kiss room, I put it out maybe about a week ago. I toured the Kiss fans room. In the very beginning, when I'm just showing off the room, I'm playing that song under that footage. That song's called Looking for Satisfaction. So, Sketo, man, it's good to see you. The Elder is better than Crazy Nights. Yes, I agree. Going to see Kiss tomorrow. That's awesome. Where are you at, world's trippiest YouTuber? Where are you at? I'd like to know where you're at. You like Half of Carnival Souls, Lewis? Yeah, there's some songs on it I don't like. I'll admit. There's some songs on even albums I really like. There's songs I don't like. They need to play Making Love. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They need to play Making Love. Kiss played Mr. Speed once. Yeah, and they did play Mr. Speed once. And I've heard it played on the Kiss cruises. Footage of it played on the Kiss cruises poorly. They also, I like Take Me. They did Take Me live, for whenever they were in Japan and stuff. They did Take Me. I like it. Steve Anderson, if Kiss made an album in '78 rather than solo albums, what solo material would make a good 10 as a Kiss album? Steve, once again, that's a question I've been asked before, and I'm going to make a question and answer video on that. So be looking for that, because I actually have that list, but I want to make a question. I want to make a video about that, because I don't have that list right in front of me. It's on my computer. So be looking for that video. Man, Steve, you're giving me good material here. Which Kiss album do you think is their most underrated? Mine is Dynasty. Me personally, early Kiss, I think it's Dynasty. I think Dynasty caught a really bad rap. Another really underrated album is Creatures of the Night. Creatures of the Night did not get any love because it came out right behind this album right here. And people were like, fuck Kiss, man. They putting out this Lord of the Rings shit, which I love The Elder. Don't get me wrong. I freaking love that album. But, and I liked it when I was a kid too. There's albums on there that kick ass. People's like, oh, there ain't no good kick ass songs on The Elder. Whoops. Look at that. Shit falling off everywhere. Yeah, y'all can laugh. Go ahead. It's okay. There's no good Kiss song. There's no rockin' songs on The Elder. Only Use a good song. It's not a rocker, but it's a good song. It's dark. Fucking Under the Rose. Under the Rose is freaking awesome. Dark Light kicks ass. The Oath kicks ass. Mr. Blackwell is a dark Gene song. And freaking, I don't really care for I. And there's a song that got left off of the back of my album. And there's a song on here that I've missed. Which one is it? The Oath is good. Dark Light. Escape from the Island. Escape from the Island is good. Man, that's probably one of Ace's best solos. He shreds on that freaking solo. So don't say that The Elder don't have rockin' songs on it, because it does. Kiss can't help it that Bob Ezrin was doing way too much coke during The Elder. They can't help that. Let's see. But yeah, I think Creatures of the Night is very underrated. And I think, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say this, even though I love this album, there's some kick-ass songs on here. I think this album gets a little bit too much credit. Yes, Vinny saved Kiss. Even though whether you like Vinny or don't, he came in at a time that Kiss needed him the most. And I won't say that he saved them, but he sure had a big hand in getting them back where they needed to be. And he started that work with Creatures of the Night, but he finished that work with Lick It Up. Scott Pearson said, Kiss is coming to SPAC near me in New York. Though I always wanted to see them. I cringed watching the video of them walking into the Whiskey A Go Go. Yeah, and some of that Whiskey A Go Go audio footage is not that great. I'd like to hear Take Me Also. Kiss Live in Tokyo 77 is the show to watch. That is true. If you Google the Lost Kiss Alive 2, you can see that show, and it is amazing. That's why they had to take the makeup off, because Creatures tanked. And the tour tanked too. And I mean, it's really sad that the Creatures album and the tour did so poor when that album kicked so much ass. It really is sad. People didn't care about the makeup anymore. I actually love music from the Elder. Bethany, you're cool. I had a great time. Need to do this again real soon. Tom, I really appreciate it. And Kiss Band fan, me too. Yeah, guys, like I said, this has been a whole lot of fun. I've really loved it. I've loved having the interaction. I've loved the each and every one of you being here tonight and doing this. I'm gonna let by my time it's 12:06, so I'm gonna shut this down here by 15 after 12. So if you've got any more, because basically I just need something to drink. My throat's about to go away on me, and my drink's gone. So got 22 people left. If any of you want to chime in and say something, if you want to say a question, if you got a question, now's the time to ask. Other than that, we're going to start wrapping this down. If the Elder didn't have Paul's falsetto voice and Gene's bad acting at the end, it would have been way better. That's actually not Gene at the very end of it, I don't think. They actually had started pre-production on this album. They had a cast set. They had a script written. Christopher Makepeace was supposed to be in it, and they had a cast. They had started pre-production, and when the album came out, it did so poorly that they didn't even tour, and they scrapped the album, or they scrapped the movie. But I think that's actual voice actors. I don't think that's Gene at the end doing all that stuff. I don't think that's Gene doing that. And I is Goofy. Yeah, I don't like when Paul starts singing like Elvis. I don't need no money. You know, I don't really like when when he sings like Elvis. The falsetto voice, you know, he did that on, you know what started that? He started that on I Was Made for Loving You. You remember that whole part where he's doing that, can't get enough, you know, and he's doing that, all that falsetto stuff, before the solo. And he kind of continued that, but, you know, even the song like, Just a Boy, I love when he's singing at the very beginning, where he's singing, who sails the ship through the stormy seas, you know. And even when he does that, if hope is lost and so are we. I mean, I even like that. But then he gets up into that, while some would search, while for some to guide us, some are staring at me. Then it comes into that, for I'm no hero. Like I said, I love Just a Boy. And I love that they, when they're doing, I don't know what song it is, but it's the one where they say, in every age and every time, a hero is born, as if by grand design, and then they go into that, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, Only You. But it was Only You they did it. But they did a Beatles. They repeated a rhythm or a melody that was from another song. They pulled the Beatles. So let's see. Unmasked is underrated. Naked City, is that you? Unmasked is Unmasked. Let me talk about Unmasked really quick. We got a few minutes here. I talked about some other albums past it, or sent after it. Unmasked, I only have one copy. It's sealed. And Unmasked is definitely underrated. I like Unmasked. Easy as It Seems is good. Is That You is good, even though it's a cover. Shandy, I love Shandy. I mean, a lot of people, they hate Shandy. I love Shandy. I think it's a great love song, probably in the top 5 of Kiss love songs, maybe maybe 3. She's So European is great. I love She's So European. Talk to Me is good. Tomorrow was good, even though it's poppy as hell. It's poppy as hell. I mean, but I love Tomorrow. Torpedo Girl's good. Two Sides of the Coin is good. I don't like What Makes the World Go Round, and I do not like You're All That I Want. Those are really the only 2 songs that I really don't like. I like other ones in different degrees. Shandy's probably my favorite song on the album, but I like the other ones in different degrees. But yes, Unmasked is definitely underrated. Have I ever met a member of Kiss? No, I have not. I have not ever met a member of Kiss. Yes, for your next stream, I want you to come up with a set list for their very last concert consisting one song from each studio album. Bethany, that's awesome. That's awesome. You want me to do it as a stream, or do you want me to do it as a question and answer video, Bethany? Let me know. Paul Anderson, I thought Tomorrow would be the first single. I thought Paul's voice was majestic. Tomorrow is awesome. That when he sings that tomorrow, the way we're gonna fall in love. It's an awesome song. Let's see. And Ace has a good solo in that song. It's short, but it's really good. Any truth that Ace having his original solos removed from the Elder, and that he has them on tape. Ace actually, the Elder went in an entirely different direction that Ace wanted to go in. The Elder was supposed to be what Creatures of the Night was. That's what Ace was wanting. And Kiss actually promised their fans a harder rocking album than Unmasked. I remember it. And then they came out with The Elder. And that's what smacked all the fans in the face. That's why the Malone made them go, fuck you, I'm going to go listen to Metallica. Or whatever, was because they promised the fans a harder album. And they had actually, Ace had already started working on his, on tracks in his basement studio in Connecticut. And then they get Ezrin involved. And Ezrin whisks everybody away to Vancouver, where he lives, and Ace stayed behind in New York. And so Ace kind of removed himself from the project, and then, and the rest of them just kind of took over. So that's why I think Ace just, even though all the songs, there's a lot of good songs on there that aren't just Ace songs, that's why I think Ace's songs were some of the more, like Dark Light and, Escape from the Island, were harder songs. But the album was originally kind of intended to be like Creatures of the Night was. Let's see. There is a book written about the Elder. I think Jillian Gill wrote it. You can find it online if you just if you search for Jillian, Jillian, Gill, Gill. If you search for him, you'll find it. You can find it. I want to read it too. And there's a book about the recording of the solo albums that I want to read too. All right, Peterson, take care, man, if you're still there. Steve Anderson, I think the movie about the Elder is going to be released soon. I've heard that. I heard that somebody took that up. What's favorite piece of Kiss memorabilia from a Kiss concert that you own? I have a Peter Criss drumstick. I think it's in storage. And when it gets around to be spring, I'm going to get into my storage building and dig some of that stuff out. But I have a Peter Criss drumstick from the Dynasty tour, and I also have a pick, and I have a bunch of concert tickets and a bunch of tour books. I just got to dig that stuff out. Okay, Bethany, you want me to answer that on a stream? Okay, I'll do it on a stream. All right, man. Thank Greek FRK. Thanks. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate that. And guys, like I said, I know that we've had pretty much 25 to 26 people here the whole time, and there's still 24 watching. And like I really appreciate, if you're watching this right now, whether you're watching it in a live stream or whether you're watching it pre-recorded, I am going to put it up. It is going to stay up on my channel, so you can come back and watch it. I am going to go down through the comments, and if I catch something that I should have answered or whatever, I might do it in a question and answer. If I did miss one of your comments or questions, I really, really, truly, I'm sorry that I did. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of here and go ahead and shut this stream down. And you know how I end it all the time. If you've watched my videos enough, you know that I appreciate each and every one of you. And you know who I am. I'm Brant, and this is In My Head Channel. And I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching the live stream. And I hope that you come back to the other ones. Follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. I have a website coming that's going to kind of incorporate all that together. I'm also on Patreon. If you want to subscribe to Patreon, you can get on there for $1 a month, up to $12 a year, only $12 a year to get in, and you get early access. Like I said, there's some videos on there that come up a day or two early. Some come up a week early. The video that's going to drop tomorrow for Aldo Nova for my 80s retrospective, that was requested by a viewer. She pays $10 a month. So she got at $10 a month, she gets to request a custom video once a month. And so for $10 a month, you can request of me to make a video just for you, and you can share it you can let me share it with the rest of the Patreon people, or share it with people on YouTube, or you can keep it just for yourself. I'll send it put it in a Google Drive, and you can download it, and it's just for you. But I don't make porn, so no porn. But anyway, you can check that out. I'm gonna have a website coming soon, and so I appreciate all of you guys. I really do. It humbles me that I'm over 1,200 subscribers now, and it just really humbles me. And I appreciate everything. Follow me on those, because I'm always talking about when the next live stream is going to be. I'm taking pictures behind the scenes, talking about the next videos that's coming out, doing polls, asking what you guys want to see. So I appreciate you all watching, and I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to reach over here, hit this button, and shut this stream down. But I'll see you all next time. Be sure to catch the next stream and catch up on some of these videos I was talking about that I've done. And so I appreciate all of you. Thanks for watching. Let's get out of here. Let's go to bed.